Great, 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 great. So there's this and this. Hi, guys. Hello, everyone. Hi, happy 2021. There you go. And welcome, Mr. Sci-Fi audience and friends. Whew, it's been a busy few years. So, so I guess on my screen, let's see. Christine, you're the first on my screen, so if you want to start with your turn, that'd be great. Oh, just unmute. There you go. Great.
That would be better.
There you go.
Adam, did you keep muting? At any rate, hi, I'm Christine Laurie. I am a personal assistant currently between gigs, actively seeking things, if you happen to know anyone. And I have been at the table for, I feel like it's 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last, well, pre-pandemic, but over the last few years, I've done many behind-the-scenes opportunities and decided that the direction I currently want to go in is personal assistant to someone in the entertainment industry. And I'm very thankful for this group. It's very supportive. If you have an ask, it's a great place to come. If you have a share, whether it's positive or negative, then there's people here to cheer you on or support you through, as the case may be, whatever you're going through. In about half an hour, I have to duck out to something else. So I'm glad I got to go first. And back to Adam and Mark.
Cool. Yay. 3 cheers. And, and again, working for people in the industry, now people are around. They're on social media and so forth. So again, you never know what's going to work. So that's one thing I would say, Christine. But great. But we can talk further definitely about that whole issue. So Adam, do we have a Mr. Sci-Fi question yet?
We do. And just as a reminder to everyone, when you're done talking, go ahead and mute yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do have a Mr. Sci-Fi question.
Cool.
Right out the gate from Hayes494.
Hi.
Who asks, do you think there's more room for conservative Star Trek writers, such as Manny Coto, to write for the franchise?
Well, it's funny because when we staff a show and when we work with other writers, we really never ask their political credentials. So, for instance, until you mentioned that Manny Coto was a conservative, I had no idea. So, so is there room for that? Yeah, if you can write, if you can tell a good story, because it should never be about political dogma. I mean, for instance, if someone comes in and says, I want to do a show about, how great Biden is and what a bum Trump was, or vice versa, that would never be a conversation you would have on a show that was appropriate. What you would have on a show is like, okay, let's look at what stories can be really engaging for our writers, for our characters and for our actors. That's what it's really about. So again, is there room for more conservative writers? Sure, if they're good writers, and because again, science fiction. When I was a kid reading Heinlein and Ted Sturgeon and Harlan and all these people, I had no idea what their politics were. It was only years later that I discovered that Heinlein was on the right, or Harlan was on the left, any of that stuff. So yeah, absolutely, sure, you bet. So let's see. Why don't we do Paul? Because I know you're in England, so let's do you.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
I'm having a few problems with my computer at the moment. Sorry I haven't been for a while, but things are taking off. For those people who don't know me, I'm an actor, an agent, and I'm in the UK. So it's nice to see everyone again. I literally won't be able to stay too long because I'm being really busy because we're still allowed to film in the UK at the minute.
Wow.
It just exploded.
Huh.
I've got scripts galore here.
Wow.
Are the regulations strict?
Sorry?
Are the regulations strict?
Are there strict regulations about shooting during COVID? Are there any?
Oh yeah, it's 2 meters, and they're using all sorts of weird stuff, but we can still do it.
Great, that's great.
You can't do the love scenes anymore.
No, but that don't worry about that. So.
Yeah, but it's really good. It's things are working out well. I've got I'm in the middle of doing 2 movies at once.
Wow.
And then I've just been asked to do detective with a Southern American accent.
Huh.
That's going to be a challenge. So anyway, how's everyone doing? Haven't spoken to you for a while, so
Yeah, everything's good.
are you all in lockdown again?
Yes.
We are.
Yes.
But,
yes.
but if you have a southern, if you need a southern accent, we have several table members who specifically deal in dialects and accents.
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm sure you could have if you put it out at the table.
Someone could advise.
So you could have one of these Zoom things, and they could help you not only have a southern accent, but a specific locale southern accent.
Yes.
So if you just say, please help from England, need a credible, what state are you supposed to be from?
They haven't suggested anything. They just want a southern accent, so it's going to have a little bit of a drawl in it, and that's it.
Sure.
Oh, well, then that would not please many Americans because it's very specific. but if you had help from somebody from the table, they would give you a location.
Well,
and
even Damien might be very useful because Damien's a Brit and he's gotten a very solid American accent down.
Mark?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just got my hearing connected. Is he asking about an accent?
Southern.
He has to do a southern accent and he's a Brit.
Okay, I've got the guy.
You
Okay.
do good.
How to help you.
Wonderful.
Yes. And 2 things. Go ahead.
He and his wife are very famous voice coaches. His name is Bob Corff, Corrff.
Mm-hmm.
He has a number of accent tapes, and these are unique. I know this because I used to work with him, mastering them for him. He's very clever. What he would do is he would have someone come in who is getting voice lessons, who is from another country that wanted to learn the non-regional U.S. dialect, right? The West Coast dialect.
Right.
The Ron Burgundy dialect, right? So he would have them be from a certain country with a certain area. He'd say, okay, that's great. Now, can you help me? And he had a script, which was 2 or 3 paragraphs. And he would have them read that script with their full accent. Then his wife would translate them phonetically. And then he would make a CD with the guy's voice and the phonetics and the script so you could study that accent from anywhere that you lived. So he has this massive collection of these things from real people speaking with a real accent, speaking English in their accent. And it's pretty phenomenal. So I can turn you on to him and see what he's got to offer
I
you.
appreciate that. Yeah.
That's great, David. We also have a number of our people from the table who are dialect coaches from the South.
Yes.
And we'll give him a very specific dialect for a very specific state and location.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's what Bob does too. He coaches.
Great.
I know he charges, and if you find someone that doesn't charge, that's great. But I'm just saying he's really a master at it.
Great.
Also check YouTube. There's plenty of tutorials about accents.
Great.
I actually did that the other day, and I got this Brit with a really posh accent trying to do a southern accent. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
Excuse
me.
Watch a different one.
Yeah. And also just as a just something to remind yourself, anything worth doing is worth doing badly. So it's like, so you don't, but actually seriously, my understanding is that the southern accent is actually easier for Brits than the standard American quote unquote accent because the vowels are longer, it's closer, and it's more florid. And that actually gives you a lot of places to kind of park yourself in terms of doing it. So
the thing is, at least because I've spent such lots of time in California,
yes,
I can pick up the accent pretty quickly.
Yes.
Because I've been coming out there a couple of times a year for 35 years.
Yes. Wow.
Probably spent more time there than here.
Well, we look forward to having you back here. So anything else you need?
Just get this pandemic over so we can start flying again.
Yeah, amen to that. Well, 3 cheers. Good to see you, Paul.
Thanks for joining us.
I have to go early tonight because
Sure.
I'm up early again in the morning.
You bet.
So if I just disappear, thanks for being there.
Of course.
And be safe.
Great. You too.
Thanks, you
Take
too.
care.
Yay.
Great. So, Adam, is there a Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yeah, we got. I hope one of these is a question. Let's see. Kenneth Crickmore asks, what is your opinion on The Mandalorian?
I've only seen a very little of it. I have to catch up with it. I think the way they shoot it with these giant screens is remarkable. The technical aspect of it is very, very cutting edge and very interesting. But I can't really comment on it story-wise yet. Though I like the actor who plays the Mandalorian, Pedro, whatever his name is. I think he's very, very talented. And but yeah, I'll be posting about it in the near future. So thanks for the question. So Adam, why don't we have you do your turn since you're there and you're
while I'm here,
yeah.
Hi everyone. My name's Adam Sartain. I'm a voice actor with over 75 different voices, accents, and impressions.
Yay.
At least I need to still make sure that I can do those. That's another story. I play the tuba, and I am an associate producer on Space Command. So, last week I was feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah.
And over the past few days, it turned out that I do have COVID-19.
Wow.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. I got the news on Sunday night. And so I've been powering through to the best of my ability. And now things are starting to wear off. I'm seeing the trees thin out, not out of the woods yet, but I can see the end of them.
Good.
So things are looking up.
Good.
Oh, good. Thank goodness.
Well, is there anything you need? Is there any way we can be of help?
I've gotten so much help already.
Good.
From so many people. Like I've been getting daily care packages.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
I've got a massage table that I've been sleeping on because you're supposed to lay prone to help breathe. And I've got I got a humidifier that somebody sent me, which I positioned under the massage table, so the humid's going right. That really, really helps.
Great.
It doesn't help to sleep on though, because then everything's sore. Yeah. But it helps to give me a bit of time to breathe.
Yes. Well, again, we're glad that it's good to see you, and anything you need, don't hesitate, because the table, the table is here to be of emotional and physical support to all of us, and so it's natural to sort of want to withdraw when one's feeling lousy, but just remember that we're here for you, and anything you need, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, and thanks for popping back into the tray.
Yeah.
You look very realistic.
Hey, the table doesn't stop meeting, and neither do I.
Yes, that's good. That's good. So great. Well, 3 cheers, Adam. Yay! Good to see you. So, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Well, yeah. While we're here, let's go to. Here's another one from Hayes494. In the Space Command universe, is there still ills such as poverty, drug addiction, famine, and will Ethan Phillips be on it soon?
Yes, and I assume those two things are unconnected. It's like it's not like he's one of the seven ills of mankind. Yes, Ethan. We do very much want Ethan aboard very soon. We've written a role for him. He's a wonderful actor, and for those who don't know, he played Neelix in Star Trek Voyager. But yes, there are all of the ills of mankind are in that future, and we touch on those in many different ways in the show. So. Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. So Carol, I guess you're next on my screen. So go for it.
Hi, everybody. I just get choked up when I hear people are sick. I cast a wide net, but Adam, I know 32 people now who've had this.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Stop counting. But I guess I'm compulsive. Everybody recovered, but please be careful. And,
yes.
I'm sorry. I just get so emotional around that because you didn't choose it. Okay. It's been a strange week. I don't know what's in retrograde, but communications, financials, everything has been so off. It's taking me 4 phone calls to straighten out anything the whole week. I don't know what that is. It kind of got to me, but I don't know what that is. It's almost like I'm afraid to pick up the phone. But anyways, okay, so I'm wearing 2 pairs of these. I'm first an actress with this group, so I'm totally open for table reads. But I've been writing, and one of my scripts is in Toronto, and they like it.
Great.
And he said something about film sales agents, which I know nothing about. And he said, "Have you contacted any film sales agents?" I went, "No." And I understand that sometimes they produce too.
Yes.
So, film sales. I'm like, yeah, okay. So that was really nice, but it's not my script. It's one of my books that he liked.
Oh, cool.
So that was from American Film Markets. That was very, very nice. That was very cool. Darn it, I don't know where I put it. I found a print ad that I did about 8 or 9 years ago. It was at a beautiful house in Calabasas. It was for R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. And, I drive up and there's and makeup and photographers, and it's
Caroline. I'm from Calabasas.
Oh, are
Caroline,
you?
I'm from Calabasas.
Yes, it was at a beautiful house there. And I drive up, and they're very nice to me. And one of the production assistants takes me by the hand, says, "Okay, now we're going to where we're going to shoot around the block." Going, okay. And I said, "What is that?" They burned me at the stake. That's what the print ad was. They burned me. I know. And I went.
That's great.
And I just found the tear sheet. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did with it, but you would have enjoyed seeing me freaking out. But they had no flares. They must have graphics in stuff because it looked really real.
Well,
I just looked at it last night, and I don't know where I put it, but it was just very, very sweet.
Well, that's definitely one to check off the bucket list.
Yeah. Well, I hope they gave you hazard pay.
Yes.
It wasn't really fire.
Yeah. No, Elaine's joking.
They really strapped us to a post, and we couldn't move.
Wow.
I'm all done in hair and makeup and everything, right? And I'm strapped to it. I know.
Well, what was it an ad for?
For R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. They're the main corporate. They're the corporate company for Camel and a whole bunch of cigarettes.
Wow.
When my agent called me, I didn't even know what R.J. Reynolds was. I just went on a call. They're like, "Oh, it's a tobacco company." I wasn't going to be political. I just did it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, is there anything you need or any questions you have?
I think I'm a little bit in betwixt. I'm sort of in a holding pattern right now. So there's nothing I really, no, I don't think there's anything I need or really can share. Okay. But if anybody needs anything, call me sometime.
Okay. Yay. 3 cheers. So Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, there is. Let's go to, just had it. There it is. Really good question from Arkansas Big Dog Hensley.
Hi.
Which is a great name, by the way.
Yes, it is.
He says, "I just wanted to ask about filming in front of a green wall.
Yes.
Is it better to have a larger wall or just one that is large enough to do one little thing at a time?"
That's an interesting question.
It's much better to have a large.
Bigger is better than small.
It's much better because you'll find. We've shot with smaller walls. Yeah. And an actor just has to gesticulate a bit too far.
And you're off the screen, yeah.
You don't think you're going to need to see his or her feet, and then you do when you start editing. And so it's much, much better to have a green screen that will cover your full actor and the movement. You just have to have it. Well, Dave, you know what it requires in terms of it being lit and all of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, we can. As I've said, if you have a large flat screen TV, you can get a green. If you can get a green image up on it with the proper color green, easy enough to find. There are videos of that on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can use your TV as a green screen in a pinch.
Yeah.
Just don't get too close to it because it'll project green light on your shoulders. And,
right.
That part of you will disappear.
Well, there you go. And so, yeah.
So, but if you can get a big screen, that's great. And if not, then editors will be able to tell you how to.
Right. I mean, the real answer is we work with what you have. You work with what you can get. That isn't going to break the bank. I mean, so it entirely depends on what you want to do. But as Dave says, there's tutorials all over the place, and I believe in trial and error. It's once you actually start doing something, you very quickly learn what to do and what not to do. I mean, it's only taken us, what, Dave, 9 years, and we're getting there. We're getting there. So
thanks for reminding me.
Yes, but yeah, absolutely. So Dave, you're up next. If you want to go for it.
Sure, here I am. Well, hello everyone. Dave Edison here, editor of Space Command. Space Command.
Yay.
God, how you supposed to say it? And other things. I've invited a few people here today. I don't see them yet, but my weekend project, I don't think I've had much of a day off this pandemic, but we've been working on Space Command during the week and sometimes into the weekend. And if not, then I've been working on a few other projects, working on helping to finish a feature film at this point. And one of our table members, Mike Lopez, who I don't see here today either. He's shot a short film that he asked me to edit, and his actually he didn't direct this one, but his director, who's also a table member, we've been in communication and sent me the footage. I sent it back to him, synced to the sound, and he made copious editing notes, so that should be pretty quick to edit when I have a moment. So that's on the back burner at the moment, but just keeping busy. Adam, get well.
Yes.
Feel better.
Yes.
Feel better. We don't want you to lose that tuba playing ability.
Yes, really. Yeah.
We don't want you to share it, but we don't want you to lose it either.
Honestly, that's probably what got me through this.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
My increased lung capacity from playing the tuba all those years.
You're probably right. So there
you
is
go.
something good about playing the tuba.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good. Yeah.
So anyway, so nothing major going on other than just working as much as possible. I'll give you a recommendation. I have a video that I want you to check out. It's a very cool video, and I can understand the sentiment. It's called "Leaving LA," and it's by Tim Minchin, who's one of my favorite performers. Tim Minchin has some great and often controversial stuff. He's a comedian and a pianist from Australia. He's the guy who wrote the score to the musical Matilda and Groundhog Day.
Wow.
But his song "Leaving LA" is essentially about him leaving LA after a big disappointment on an animated project that fell through, and just trying to deal with this town. The thing about the video, though, is it took about a year to do, and the guy who did it made it entirely of handmade zoetropes.
Wow.
And it's shot on iPhones. And
amazing.
That description barely scratches the surface. So once again, if you want to check it out, it's called "Leaving LA," and very cool video.
Great. Well,
and
thanks.
With that, I will turn it back to Mark, Elaine, and the dogs. Where are the doggies?
They're around.
The doggies.
They're lying down. They're lying down. Yeah.
Dozing.
Yeah. We let them sleep.
Yeah.
So
when they rouse.
Yes.
Put them in the camera.
Cool.
Okay.
And so
everybody be well.
Yay, Dave.
Yay.
So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes, we've got our next question from Mark Lungo.
Hi, Mark.
And he says, increasingly, anything cool is on a streaming service instead of broadcast or cable.
Yes.
So people who can't afford streaming can't see these shows. Any thoughts on this digital divide?
It's an interesting question. Personally, one thing one can do is jump onto like a month. A lot of these streaming services have offers where it's free for like a month, and you can subscribe to Showtime or whomever. So looking for those sales is a good idea. Also, sometimes what I'll do is if there's a show I want to watch, I'll wait until they've released all of the episodes. Then I'll just jump on that streaming service for like a month, like CBS All Access or whatever. And so for like $5 to $15 a month, you can be watching the shows you want to watch. Beyond that, it's if there's some of these services allow you to download shows, and so that's another thing where one can look at ways to like download the programming you want, and then cancel the service or whatever. It's so there's a lot of ways to do it. It's a shame that television used to be free and now it's much harder to watch free programming. There's a catch. Another thing one can do is YouTube has a lot of amazing content, and again, one doesn't always have to be watching everything when it first comes out. One can wait, and so for instance, some content that might be expensive, initially, you might be able to then watch for like $2 or $2.99 when it comes to Redbox or whatever. So there's a lot of ways to make that.
Pre-pandemic, I watched the first season of Star Trek Discovery on a DVD set that I borrowed from the library.
Wow.
It's a way of doing it as well.
Yes.
If you're going to cancel from those services, CBS All Access, for example, make sure you do it right, because I've had situations where I thought I had canceled the service, and then I get hit with the next month's bill, and I have to go through a whole rigmarole to get it actually canceled and get a refund.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and there's certain services that offer a lot more than other services. I mean, for instance, HBO Max has a tremendous amount of stuff, including Turner Classic Movies. So that's something I've been waiting for a long time to get without having to have cable. So there's and sometimes there's ways to watch the same shows on different platforms depending on what their deals are. Where it might run the first year on one platform and then go to another one as part of the deal. So, I like Amazon Prime. I like Netflix. I don't have Disney Plus right now, but again, if I want to watch The Mandalorian, I'll jump on for a month and watch The Mandalorian, and then cancel. So I don't need to see Pinocchio or whatever. And so yeah. So let's see, Nina. I guess you're next on my screen if you want to go for it. Yeah. There you go.
I'm unmuted.
Okay,
Dangerous.
tea.
Hey everybody. Hope you're feeling better, Adam. If you need anything, holler out, Claire. Judith is on her way home from the hospital.
Yes.
So she's going home. They released her, so
Good.
she's better.
Good.
I'm an actress.
What happened to Judith?
She does not have COVID. They tested her. She had I think the metformin she was taking made her have acidosis.
Well, it was actually, what was wrong was she was supposed to be taking a certain med, 50 units, and the endocrinologist had been prescribing 2,000. And it made her very sick, and a lot of those symptoms imitated COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was it. It was a misdiagnosis. She was getting poisoned. But she's a lot better now. She's a lot better now. Yeah.
If only she played the tuba.
Yeah. If only.
I think she has enough hot air to do that.
Yes.
But anyway, she's on her way home, so I want to let you guys know she's on her way home. She's good.
Great.
I've been busy. I've been kicking ass. New Year's been good. Yesterday was my birthday.
Yay! Happy too late birthday! Yay!
Oh no, I celebrate the whole month, girls. So you're all good.
Okay. Yay!
And I've been singing about 2 or 3 times a week on open mics, which is great for me because it makes me show up for myself when I'm not on open mic. So my voice is getting stronger, which makes me very happy because I was kind of concerned about that. Working on writing a demo for my voiceover work so I can get some work because that would be nice. That would be really good. And just, trudging along. Hearing Elaine, hearing you in the back of my head. A lot of times I would, what would Elaine say about this? What would Mark think about this? Incorporating the star and dollar sign has been very helpful. Very helpful.
Great.
So
great.
So that's it. Things are good. Oh, baby, puppy. That's about it. And I'm glad everybody's doing well, and a happy New Year to all. And carry on. They're opening things up here, and it's freaking me out. They're opening gyms and
Oh,
restaurants,
really?
and it just happened Monday, and it's just suspicious and annoys me, and I'm frustrated about that. But I hope everybody's smart enough to stay safe. So that's about it. All is well in Chicago, and cold as hell.
Great. Okay. Yay. Cool. Three cheers. Great. So, so Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes. Our next question comes to us from Scott Baker.
Scott Baker.
Excuse me.
That's
Scott
okay.
Baker.
COVID.
Yep. COVID. Yep. What do you think of producers accepting government funding for messaging in their scripts, like STEM education, anti-drug, anti-tobacco, anti-drunk driving? What are the ethical concerns?
I think it's a little tricky. I mean, I've never been involved with anything like that. I think that if there is a fee paid for something, it should be in the credits or clear to the audience. But I think that it's very dangerous to offer anything like that you have to put into the script, because there's a fine line between drama and propaganda. You know, so I think it's appropriate, for instance, for TV shows and movies to sign on to not have anyone smoking in their content, so that they're not promulgating smoking. And that's okay. You know, and obviously nowadays the Spaaccceee and the Humane Society, you know, oversee treatment of animals on films and TV, and that of course is good too. So it's fine to follow certain moral guidelines, but I think it's trying to like hide a message like, you know, join the Boy Scouts or something is, you know, if the Boy Scouts is slipping you, you know, $100, nah, I don't think that's really kosher. So, you know, but again, there are other things like, for instance, you know, product placement. Like there's a solar car coming out called the Aptera, and I've reached out to them to see if they want to be part of Space Command, because I'd love a solar powered car, you know, and I think that is the wave of the future. And so there's a but it wouldn't be a thing like, but that would be like, you know, cars provided by Aptera. It would be a credit, and it wouldn't be like, you know, like a commercial. It would just be like, that's an interesting car. Let's look at. But of course, in the Space Command universe, it would be a, you know, a classic car. It wouldn't be a new car, you know. So that's rather amusing. And we are building a Space Command car. So you know, so there's that. So let's see. Now,
Bonnie?
No, Bonnie's not there. She's
Bonnie.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, there you are.
Bonnie.
Go for it. Yeah, Bonnie, go for it. Okay.
Okay, Bonnie Janowski, composer, songwriter, and let's see, I am to score the film that Dave Edison is working on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, okay.
So that's cool, and just working a lot of different things. I'm helping for the union, the new secretary treasurer doesn't really. I'm helping her get. Kind of started on that. Every time there's a secretary treasurer's not there, I've been the one to take minutes. So anyway, I've been kind of helping get some stuff started. We have 7 out of 12 board members that are new. So myself and another board member and staff at the union are actually creating a new board member orientation thing. There's the one we've had a lot of questions. So, gosh, what else am I doing? I know I'm doing a whole lot of stuff.
I know. When do you sleep?
I know. I have to think so. What am I working on? I'm helping on a friend. She published one book that's like 300 pages or something of songs, and now I'm working on some other stuff for her. With our composers group, we're working on Valentine's songs, and another group we're putting out videos of Valentine's songs now, and I know there's other stuff which on my mind to think about at the moment. Yeah, I know there's more, but this thing's going good.
Okay.
If you need music, let me know.
Okay, cool, great, yay! 3 cheers, Bonnie. So, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
What's your website, Bonnie?
Oh, what's your website, Bonnie?
BonnieRuthJanowski.com. I'll put that in the website.
In the chat. Yeah.
Website in the chat.
Okay, great. Okay, so Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we've got a question from Kevin Scott 76.
Okay, hi.
Who asks, what was your biggest influence creating the spaceships for your show?
The art, the science fiction artwork of the 1950s. So, for instance, the Wally Wood and Al Williamson and Frank Frazetta covers on Weird Science for EC, the book covers by Ed Emshwiller and other great artists, Kelly Freas, but also some of the movies. I mean, When Worlds Collide, the George Pal stuff, just that kind of 1950, and then of course Space Patrol, the great 1950s TV show, and so all of that kind of was the inspiration for the aesthetic. It's an aesthetic that I happen to love, and the irony was that when I said, well, let's have a bullet-nosed rocket ship, I thought, that I was just harkening back to the 50s, and then Elon Musk comes out with this great silver, spaceship for Mars, and it's like, wow, we're back where we started. It's great, and so I feel very much on the cutting edge as well. So very, very fun, very, very fun. So let's see. So I guess Christina Marie Leonard, that you're up. Go for it.
Hi guys, good to see everybody today. I have to say, Carol, I love your glasses, and Mark and Elaine, I love your spaceman.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very cool. I'm an actress, and I also spent a lot of years doing stand-up comedy, and right now I am gearing up to crowdfund a short film I wrote that it's not about stand-up comedy, but it takes place in that world.
Good.
And I'm actually shooting our little crowdfunding video, our little 2-minute pitch video on the 30th. And I've got most of my team, but I am looking for somebody to edit the short video. I'm trying to get it up and running by like February 12th. Because I'm trying to use my birthday to start on,
Yeah.
So if anybody, I have a few editors I've worked with, but if anybody has somebody that, has edited like those types of, we're going to use Seed and Spark, but any crowdfunding video, and you want to, refer them to me, I would love that. But, I'm going to ask around this week, and I'm just looking forward to it because it's, I know people, like, it's nice to kind of get to the point where things are moving,
Yes.
and I'm done with revisions, and it's kind of like in the flow now. So that's really fun. And I guess I don't really have anything else to ask for. But if, if I don't know if people do stand up, I can always put a link to, there's some Zoom mics going on.
Sure.
If anybody's wanting to do that, I know that's sometimes something I get questions about. So if you have any questions about like stand up during the pandemic, I can offer like kind of a route for that. So anyway, that's all I have.
Great.
Good to see you guys, and I'll turn it back to you, Mark and Elaine.
Yay! And of course, you can put the word out on the table email requesting an editor, and that'll get you a much wider, group of people you're reaching.
Just be specific as to what you want.
What you specifically want.
What their skills to be. I mean, it's sort of like we once were given a tape from somebody who had written a comedy, and it was terribly unfunny. Yeah. And I looked at that. I thought the acting is good. The all of the
everything should have been working.
Everything should have been working because it wasn't the acting and it wasn't the material. At least the editor.
Yeah.
They didn't hire a comedy editor, and they completely blew the timing.
Right.
And everything that should have been funny was dead. Yeah. And I said, don't change anything except your editor. Right. And they got a comedy editor, and
then it worked.
And then it worked.
Yeah, and so that's just something to be mindful of.
So just say I need an editor for this specific thing.
Yeah, so great.
Okay, yeah, that's great, and I really appreciate that. I've had that experience in the past too, with somebody that's edited, but not necessarily with the comic timing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Well, 3 cheers! Yay!
Thanks, guys.
So, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes, our next question is from Santiago Castillo.
Great.
Who says, what is the biggest issue you have with trying to get syndicated if that is your final goal?
Well, my goal ultimately is to sell to the VOD platforms, like Netflix, Amazon, etc., because I think that's really where the name of the game is right now. Syndication as such in the old terms doesn't really exist anymore, I don't think. I mean, it's a totally different video landscape now. With Showrunners Network, where we're creating 6 series, and shooting 6 2-hour pilots and selling them as a slate of 6 shows. That's what we're embarked on now. That would be something that pretty much only a VOD platform could buy. And
they're 2-hour pilots?
Yes, because then we can sell them also as features. It's what used to be called a 2-hour backdoor pilot. They don't make those anymore. The networks didn't, but they used to, back in the good old days, because if the thing didn't go to series, they could always release it as a theatrical feature in Europe and as a TV movie here, so that's some of it. And, because Space Command is a 2-hour pilot, Magic Time is a 2-hour pilot, Fugitive Space is a 2-hour pilot, so not hard to do. So, but that's basically the plan. So let's see. So I guess Bill White, you're the next one on my screen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bill, and I have been acting all my life. I'm an actor. I studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York, and also studied with Terry Schreiber, who taught Cynthia Nixon and to get back to the previous conversation, I absolutely love accents.
Oh, great.
And, I was doing a piece called Prince Among the Slaves, and I had to have a really good working Irish accent, and I knew there'd be a lot of improv. And there was a guy in Indiana, I was just looking at my computer for his name, anyway, a professor. And he would not do what I asked, which was, take the lines and give me a phonetic reading. He wouldn't do it. He absolutely insisted that I do the exercises and understand where the placement was. And so anyway, so glad that he did that.
Yeah.
Let's see, I broke my leg in summer stock.
Wow, there you go.
Actually broke my leg. Ted Danson was in the company. This is way back when I was 20.
Wow.
And I saw him a couple months ago, and I remembered the whole thing. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
That was a Brecht play, Bertolt Brecht play.
Yes.
Let's see. What else? I'm a screenplay writer now, short story writer, and when I joined SAG, there were a whole lot of Bill Whites, so I became Wilson White.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? Got a real extensive resume, and I got to tell you, when I was invited to this to the round table last week for the first time, and I came away, I was telling my partner Carla, just, you guys, I don't know, I felt really great about sitting in.
Oh, good.
At your round table, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thanks, Bill. And one thing I will say about accents, by the way, is nailing the accent itself is important. But another thing to also know is the words that are pronounced differently in different accents. For instance, England, has many different words and also different pronunciations. For instance, the word patent in America is patent in England. And things like that. It's useful. It's very useful to cultivate friends from different places, not to do their accents, but just to call them and say, "Can you read through this and let me know if there's any words that have different pronunciations in your neck of the woods?" Because that is something, that's. I remember once I called an office in New Zealand, and God, their accent, it was English, but I didn't have my ears set for that specific accent. It was very difficult to understand, and now of course I would be able to, but it's funny how that all works.
It's also
not at all surprising that the plumbing accent, British accent, fits so well with the Southern accent.
Yes.
You've got the round O.
Yes. The long vowels. Yes.
And if you can watch a bit of film on any of these people, something that helps with the accent is the body language shift.
Yes.
Because the rhythm is different.
Well, Guillermo was talking about that. Guillermo, when I wrote the book with Guillermo del Toro, he mentioned that he could always tell when it was an English actor playing an American, because Americans stretch out. It's like they command the space they're in, whereas Brits are much more restrained and boxed and look small motions. You know, it's just a you know, a headset, and that was very, very fun for him to mention. And you know, so but yeah, but there's also so many different English accents. I just love the variety of English accents. You know, I mean, literally, you know, from town to town to town, or even from neighborhoods. You know, there are different London accents within London and so forth. It's really cool.
Using the use of the hands, you know.
Yeah,
it's half of what you're saying in your hands or not.
it's fun. It's
yeah,
fun.
It's fun.
Right.
So, is there anything you need, Bill?
I don't. I'm
Okay,
good.
Okay.
I just need to be here with my new little family around the table.
Great.
Cool.
Yay.
Yay. 3 cheers. Excellent. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
There is, but I think Stephen Hayward has a question.
Sure. Oh, you have to, we can't hear you.
Oh, you're not. Guillermo del Toro.
There we go. I couldn't hear you. What was the beginning of the question?
You said you worked with Guillermo del Toro like a few seconds ago.
Yeah, I wrote a book with him.
How was he working with him, and how is he as a person?
He's great. He's great. It was really, really fun. The book was called Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. It's a big coffee table book, and the bulk of the book is a conversation between me and Guillermo about his house and his notebooks and his life and his films and his artistic aesthetic. And you know, you have to really know your stuff to have a conversation with Guillermo, because he's so versed in so many things. I mean, when he was 8 years old, he taught himself French so he could read Victor Hugo in the original, and he just got.
Did you ever see Blade 2, Pacific Rim, The Shape of Water, the Hellboy movies?
Yeah, well, I've written extensively about all of those, and Mark Gushwitz is holding up the book. It's you can get it on Amazon, but it's yeah, I know.
When did you write this book?
It came out, I think, in 2014. So it doesn't include Shape of Water or some of the more recent ones.
It came out in 2017. And did you ever watch my stand-up or read my story that I sent you last week, Mark?
Not yet, but I will. It's just been very, very hectic because we're building an empire. So.
What empire are you guys building?
It's movies, TV, books, everything that we're doing. I mean, we just, you know, hundreds of hours of production. It's just an enormous amount. And I mean, to pitch 6 series simultaneously while writing a book that's already contracted for, that's a lot. I mean, if you think of each of those 6 shows having a minimum of 10 episodes, that's 60 hours, and that's a lot. And thank God shows are no longer 22 hours or 29 hours or 36 hours like they used to be. But you know, but it's still a bunch to do. I mean, you know, it's just so much fun telling Dave Edison what we're going to be doing and watching the blood drain from his face. You know, so
I hope we can meet one day in person, Mark.
Yes.
I mean, I want to know how I could break in the film industry or figure out a career path for me.
Yes, I mean,
we'll get back with your turn. Let's talk about that at your turn.
That'll be great. We'll get to
your
it.
turn's almost come up, and so then we can start.
We'll do that.
We
can answer those questions.
Yeah. Okay.
So and I'm sorry, Adam, was there a Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yeah. So for our Mr. Sci-Fi question, we have from Wilhelm Sowers.
Hi, Wilhelm.
Can you update us on the unknown aliens appearing in Space Command?
Yes, there's going to be a race called Passara. And because we had a contest to name them, and they're 8 feet tall. They have spines coming out of their back, and they're sort of bioluminescent, and they're really cool. And so we're building 2 of those. And there are creatures called the Harvesters that are a parasitic race, and so we'll be seeing them soon. And beyond that, there's the Ema, which is this race that's very much like the Krell in Forbidden Planet. So we've seen their cities, we've seen their spaceships, their artifacts, but they haven't been around our part of the universe for millions of years, and so we don't know what they look like. But there's going to be a lot of really interesting aliens. My idea with Space Command was to have aliens that are very alien, so it's not just a little piece of foam rubber on the bridge of the nose, you know. So
we've got some stunt people working really hard.
Because they'll have stilts and extensions in their arms, and it's going to be pretty cool. If you want to see what the head of the alien looks like, if you go to one of my most recent posts on Mr. Sci-Fi, we gave a tour of the alien spaceship set that we're building, and also showed the head of the 8 foot tall alien. So it's very, very fun, very, very fun. So let's see, or Todd. Yeah, Todd's next. Go for it.
I didn't know I was next. How
Yes.
exciting. So Christina Marie Leonard invited me to the group.
Oh,
great.
So, nice to meet you, Mark and Elaine. And
Thanks.
I read Christina's script, and it's very funny and very good.
That's
great.
great. That's
Needed
great.
to plug that before I plug myself. I'm an actor from Nebraska, so that's that connection that Christina Marie and I have. Cornhusker graduates, and I've mostly been in San Francisco, so relatively new to Los Angeles. I'm with Maverick. Found out my agent left sometime last year. So as things slowly go forward, I have a commercial agent. I really like him there, but haven't heard yet. So, got my feelers out just in case, but I've heard that, it's slow start. So, and I should put that down too, since the subject is accent help, back to Nebraska. It's called accenthelp.com. Jim Johnson is a grad student he was a grad student at University of Nebraska. Him and his wife are in Houston. He's he's the head of the theater department in Houston. I think Juilliard recommends their website. I'll put it on there right now.
Oh, cool.
Right.
It's just accenthelp.com. And I know they have a sale going right now.
Oh, cool.
To buy them. They do coaching. They do casting, and all of his tapes are real. I mean, he goes out and he goes to the regions and gets.
Great.
So they're pretty amazing. And he was blown away when Juilliard recommended him. So I
oh,
think
that's
it's
great.
Juilliard, don't quote me.
Oh, cool. And then go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
The biggest thing that I am looking for is I'm an actor, but I've been writing a pilot during the pandemic, and it's gone to a direction where I have a lot of it's based in San Francisco, and I have a lot of Chinese American characters.
Oh, good.
So I'm currently looking for a co-writer that is Chinese American.
Okay.
So the Cantonese is what they speak in
Sure.
San Francisco.
Good.
So that would help. They don't necessarily have to be fluent in it, but I think some characters would have to speak it.
What I might suggest, among the things I might suggest, the Writers Guild has diversity subgroups. And if you reached out to the Writers Guild, they could probably connect you with their Asian members, and you might find someone who would be interested in collaborating with you. So I would do that. I would do that, because generally it's very hard to get professional writers to collaborate for free. But in this case, because it's such specific knowledge, they might be interested. And so I would start there. Another place to inquire, there's a group called the East West Players, which is a theatrical troupe of Asian actors. And I'm sure that they would know Asian writers.
Yeah.
So those are the two things I would recommend.
Fantastic.
But yeah. And now also, by the way, just to let you know, there are diversity categories on there are different networks that have writing fellowships, and some of them have diversity categories, and you don't have to be a member of a diverse group. You just have, the script just has to focus on a diverse group. So in other words, your script could very easily qualify for those fellowships. So you might want to look into that as well.
What is that last one?
The different television networks all have annual writing fellowships, and so that would be something to check out.
Oh, and I did have another question. Anybody answer me? What's the name of your book?
Which me? You mean?
I couldn't see.
It's called Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Okay.
And I'm also
I posted an Amazon link.
Yeah. And
you did. Good. There it is. It popped up since I was talking.
I'm also very well.
Among other.
Yeah, I'm very well known for the Twilight Zone Companion, which I wrote, and I also produced the Twilight Zone Blu-ray set. So there's 52 commentaries where you can listen to me for 30 hours, and I wrote the Magic Time trilogy of novels based on a pilot Elaine and I wrote that HarperCollins published, and I'm currently writing a new book called Greenlighting Yourself that Silman James will be releasing as soon as I finish writing it. So
wow, congrats. Well,
yeah,
that's a nice segue. I also I'm also during the pandemic working on my YouTube channel. I've got two actually. I've got Walk of Fame Wednesdays where I do a star on the Walk of Fame, and so Mark, you can watch my
Guillermo
Rod Serling episode.
the Rod, yeah,
the heck out of me.
Yeah,
I'm trying to keep them short and fun, so I'm just trying to get followers. So
yes,
it's called Walk of Fame and Wednesdays with Todd Pickering.
That's cool.
And I'm doing, since I'm stuck inside, I'm filming a lot from my personal channel, which is YouTube channel, which is called Todd Pickering.
Oh, fun. What were you going to say, Elaine?
Oh, do you have a reel of your acting? The range that a good reel?
I've only done one co-star up here, so I don't have a full reel. I've got clips, actors access and whatnot, but
but remember, you can shoot your own
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it didn't used to be true, but now it isn't important because you don't want to have to wait to be cast for something for something.
Right.
So.
Right. And now, and also for those who are new to the table, several things. The table's been going for 28 years. It's thousands of members. We have offshoots all over the country. When it's not a pandemic, we have meetings once a week in LA at a restaurant called Marie Callender's. We have the table email, which consists of an industry related email list where you can send one email out to all several thousand members, and there's also a life related there's a life related email list where you can say, I'm looking to get a car, I'm trying to get rid of this cat, whatever, and that works as well, and you can sign up to either or both. So David Bartlett is our liaison for that right now. So if anyone's new to the table and wants to get on the table email, David's the guy to talk to. So yeah. And so Todd, anything else? Any other questions or needs? Okay.
I'll post the YouTube sites on.
Great. Terrific. Yay. 3 cheers. Okay. So another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes. We have another question from Arkansas Big Dog Hensley.
Great.
Who asks, what would you think about Vikings in space? Instead of raiding villages, they would raid planets.
Yeah, well, those are sort of the Klingons during the Next Generation era, really. I mean, you can definitely have space pirates, space raiders, space Vikings. All of these things are, they've all been done. There's various kinds of salvage operations and people taking, attacking colonies and so forth. I mean, it's essentially a lot of us who write science fiction look back to history to find models that we can use for our projecting out into the future. So most science fiction writers read a lot of history, and it's very, very, very useful to do so. So yeah, absolutely, of course. And so let's see. So Stephen, I guess you're next. So if you want to take your turn, it's your turn. Okay. Well, we can't hear you. Oh, are you there?
Hi, Stephen. Are you there?
Better plug in your mic.
Yeah. We can't hear you. Oh, we can see you. But okay, well, I guess if you're
have you plugged in your mic?
Stephen? No? Okay. Well,
Stephen?
I guess.
What did you ask?
There it is. Oh, yeah, it's your turn if there's anything you'd like to ask or mention.
You were talking about the business.
Hi. So when we all meet in person, when we all can meet, I'd like to know what career path would be good for me.
Sure. We can get into that when we meet in person, of course. And there'll be a lot of people who can be of help and of emotional support. So great. Anything?
Yeah,
anything?
I'm preferring to look for someone near me.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's fine. There are a lot of people at the table who are coming in from places like Irvine and all sorts of outlying areas.
Well, I can't drive there all the time.
No. And it's not required. I mean, yeah. I mean, basically anyone who comes to one meeting can then sign up for the table email and all those things. So there's there's no requirement to come every week at all.
A lot of people find out help in advancing their profession on the net. You can ask that. But what's very helpful in terms of getting help is to ask for something as specific as you can. Because sometimes people just say, how do I get in the business? And that kind of, nobody understands what they're saying, what area of the business. But the more
I went back in the day when I tried to get a job at the studio, I didn't know what kind of jobs to get into.
Yes.
Then people don't know how to help you. But if you say, here are my skills, here is what I think I would love, even though I haven't tried it yet.
Yes.
Here's what really enthuses me. Any advice? But the more specific, they had a study once about people who said, nobody ever helps me. And then when they said, when they got them to make a more specific request, suddenly everyone was helping them because they understood.
Did you guys ever watch my stand-up or read my short story? I sent it to you guys, I believe.
Not yet, but we will. So, but yeah. So, is there anything else you need?
Nope. It was a pleasure talking with you guys. I had a good time.
Great. Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks,
Yay.
Okay.
So, Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes. But is this? Well, we have a super chat, but there's nothing in it. But it's from
but thanks.
Akasha Productions.
Yay!
Space Command.
Yay! Thank you. So, is there another question?
But let's go to our next question, which now I have to check here. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, this question's for Elaine, actually.
Yikes.
From Hayes494.
Very exciting.
Would Elaine ever be interested in writing for Adventures in Wonderland, a Disney children's show from the 90s, if Disney wanted to reboot it?
That's funny. I've never seen the show, so it's hard for me.
I've never heard of it myself.
I don't know.
But also, you're not primarily an animation writer. We've written animation together. Just like I never set about to be an animation writer. It's just how I got into television via Michael Reeves. And so it's not something that would hugely appeal to you. If someone was going to do a documentary, if someone was going to do a documentary on the Wobblies or, that was the international workers of the world, yes.
I'm an old lefty.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've written for all kinds of things.
Yes.
But the question for me would be, can I get into the dream of the characters, what their passions are? If I could, then the answer would be yes, because I find other people endlessly fascinating. But if they felt a little thin or shoved in one direction or another that didn't feel realistic, I would have trouble getting my head around them.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, great. Okay. So let's see. Arena, I guess you're next on my screen. Go for it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
You bet.
Well, good to see you. Just wanted to say hi and check on the Space Command team.
Cool.
I'm glad that Adam is here and doing well.
Good. Yes. Yeah.
And was kind of curious to hear how you're feeling now that the January 20th is behind us. And
yes.
What are your plans to achieve this year?
Is that a question for us? Is that what you were? Yeah. Well, I'm very relieved that there were no acts of violence at the inauguration. I mean, I think as people see that our country kind of stabilizes and people get the services that they need, such as vaccinations, I think a lot of the heat of things is going to cool down because people will see that we're back to normal, and whereas so hopefully that's what's going to happen.
But basically, we took the day celebrating.
Yes. And again, the table is not political.
No, it's not political, but we've been in the table isn't political, we're political, but just to say that sometimes it's like we were addicted to the news and afraid of what the news would say every day.
This was the closest we ever got to an actual overthrow of the government. And we were both very nervous that was going to happen, and thank God it didn't. But it's the closest in my lifetime we've ever come to that, with people raiding the Capitol and the senators and House members and Vice President having to run for their lives. I mean that was a very close thing, and and gallows set up outside the Capitol building. This is not the America that I prefer to live in, so yes, we're very relieved. Our plans for 2021 are extensive. We're making features, TV shows, books, tons of stuff. We were able to keep all of our people on salary, all of our Space Command team, and keep the studio going. And so we even did a 2-hour episode during the pandemic where the actors shot their own scenes. So
they shot our scenes.
Yeah. But we didn't slow down. We ramped up. And so 2021 is going to be a very busy year. We're now actively embarked on raising $36 million to shoot the pilots for the Showrunners Network. We'll see if that works, but it's certainly a bold and daring undertaking. So yeah. So anything you need, Arena?
Well, just one thing. Since we last time talked, I started a new YouTube channel.
Yay!
In addition to the ones that I already have.
Oh, good.
Great.
Specifically dedicated to behind the scenes.
Great.
So definitely something, I would love to feature, Space Command and fellow table members.
Yes.
And basically it's very simple the way it works. Just a link to a YouTube video, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. So all the likes, all the viewership goes to the original creator of the video. So it's a very simple setup. Yeah.
Cool. Great. Okay. Well, definitely you can put out the word on that, and I'm sure you'll get a lot of response. And that's but Space Command is a lot of fun in terms of behind the scenes, as you know, because there's just so much stuff. So yeah. Well, great. Well, anything else?
Working on it.
Yeah. So anything else you need?
No, that's it.
Okay. Yay. 3 cheers. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes, we have another question from Scott Baker.
Hi, Scott.
Who asks, would you consider a plot conflict involving 2 major characters, good friends, sharing core values, but who strongly disagree on how to solve a serious, urgent problem?
That's something that actually happens in the pilot with 2 of our leads, where they disagree on a major thing. But yeah, so that definitely does often lead to drama, where where one may take one view and one may take another, and it's not that either of them are bad guys, it's just that they differ on what to do in a given situation. And so that's it's something we definitely absolutely are doing. So great. So David Goldenholtz is the next person on my screen. Oh no.
Unmute. Can you unmute?
He's trying, yeah. Wow. Uh-oh. It's probably the radiation from all those clouds affecting his equipment.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yay.
Yay. Good job.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
All right. So, as y'all know, I'm David, and I do voiceover, do field mixing, and it's been kind of a rough last year, and glad all that is behind all of us, and it's a new year, and happy that I'm around with some good people around the table. But I do have some questions for you, Mark.
Sure, you bet.
So the Zoom the table, is the Zoom going to continue for this? Is it going to continue after COVID is done?
We probably should figure out some way to have it continue, because it is useful that people from different places can be part of it. So this will be a conversation amongst sort of the core people of the table to figure it out. The challenge always is one of our time and energy, because we're doing so much that we don't want to have too much of our time taken up on things that aren't building our empire. But I do like the fact that people from all over the world can be part of the meeting, and I think many of us who've been utilizing Zoom during the pandemic have really found some great strengths in it, such as having meetings in different areas and so forth. So I think we'll figure out some way to make it work. I think it's worth pursuing. So absolutely. So what else, David?
Still, looking for work as always, but staying safe, staying healthy, not too much going on.
Good.
But that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, yay! 3 cheers. Great. And again, it's so nice that, now they do have a vaccine, and again, that we are seeing the sort of, light at the end of the tunnel. So,
and with whatever samples you have, remember, you can always beat the drum and say, "Oh, I just created this new fun thing," blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Keep yourself alive in terms of other people's memories and consciousness. Because people, you get so busy, but if you just have fun things out there, things where people understand your skills.
Well, the thing that people often forget is that we are all in the business of entertaining people, and anything you create that's entertaining, that's actually entertaining, is what we do, and is of use, and thanks to YouTube, you can have your own channel for free, which is really amazing. I mean, I started Mr. Sci-Fi because Glenn Mazzara, who ran Walking Dead, had lunch with me and said, you know so much about science fiction, you should start your own channel. And I did almost no promotion other than just letting the table know that I was doing it. I started with very few subscribers. Now it's almost 80,000, and millions of hits, and people around the world watching it and recognizing me when I go out in public, and so forth. So it's, as always, funny because you can never tell. There was one time that this Russian guy was walking across the street with his family, this big Russian guy, and he yelled across the street to me, he said, "I love your commentaries, especially the ones about Star Trek Discovery." It's like, great, really fun, really, really fun. So, but anyone, you can I just started another channel called Mr. Politics, just because I didn't want Mr. Sci-Fi to be political, and because of some of the interesting things our previous president was doing, I felt a strong need to talk about it. And but again,
can you say that again about what?
Mr. Politics.
No, something about what? Who was doing?
Our previous president.
Oh, I just wanted to hear it again.
Yes, I know. And again, not to get political. The table welcomes everyone of every stripe, as long as they're compassionate and mutually supportive, and that's true of Mr. Sci-Fi as well. So, I really like when people who are different from me can sign on to the same enthusiasm. So, and recognize that we all, we're all just living our lives here, making a journey through life, and hopefully one leaves the world a little better than it was when you came. That's I think a useful life. So okay. So let's see. So
there's one other thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I am learning 3D printing. So
oh, good.
Oh, great.
Great.
That is a thing, just in case anybody needs that.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
That's super neat. So let's see. So we just do a Mr. Sci-Fi question? I think we did. Did we? I don't know.
Can I interrupt real quick? I just forgot to mention sound, and I messaged you, David, in the chat. So look at the chat.
Great, thanks. Adam, did we ask a Mr. Sci-Fi question? I don't remember. We've been...
not since
Go for it.
Turn.
Go for it.
So let's do from Dr. Essex.
Okay.
Asks, will you consider allowing fan fiction to enter your Space Command cinematic universe?
Sure.
Perhaps offer guidelines or feelings of this.
Yes, and I think we're about to put out. I'm going to put up a page that says, get the entire Space Command epic, or the journey or whatever. Because right now we have novels, graphic novels, audio plays, 5 hours we've shot of the show. There's a ton of stuff now, and plus Ripple Effect, where you can really kind of get a feel for who these people are and what the story is. And so, yeah, absolutely. And again, as with Star Trek or Star Wars, sometimes the little subsidiary characters can be great fodder for fan fiction. So absolutely. So let's see, Laura, I guess you're next on our thing.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. And am I coming through clear? We got sound?
Yes.
Yeah, the sound is great.
Yes.
We would like to see more light, but you're a little shaded there.
I know, it's dark. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just noir.
But
it's
maybe
noir.
that's better, actually.
Perhaps.
Might be a good thing. So, yeah, this is my first time meeting all of you. So thank you. And I've been invited by Dave Edison.
Oh, yay. Okay.
And, yeah, we're working on a final edit of mine on a feature that I just finished.
Oh, cool.
So he's helping me out a little bit. Well, quite a bit. I'm just sorry, Dave, a lot. But no, great job. And we're almost there with Lock Pictures.
Whatever spare time I got.
Whatever, exactly. So yeah, we're making it work. And yeah, I shot a feature, sci-fi thriller, psychological thriller, and I'm a filmmaker, so writer, director, producer, all of it.
Shot during the pandemic?
Yeah, shot during the pandemic, wearing masks and all. So just a small crew and one location. So we made it happen. And yeah, so anyway, I'm in post now, and I just need to get through. We're going on to sound.
That's
and I'm actually dealing with a question right now, specifically. If I could ask one, maybe you could give me a little insight or clarity on something. It's actually
cute
with my mix, my sound mix. My sound guy was asking me, do I want to do a stereo or 5.1? And since maybe the possibility would only be streaming, of course, actual distribution right now.
Yeah.
Do I need to do a 5.1?
What do you think, Dave?
Probably not, but you know, stereo's probably fine.
Well, but
probably fine for any of the streamers like Hulu or anybody. They don't look for 5.1 right now, are they?
Well, yeah, the buyers. If you're trying to get someone like Hulu or Netflix or Prime to pick it up, a 5.1 mix is a good idea.
I should do it.
Yeah. Well,
but do you need that for the sale? I mean, the 5.1 is something that could be created from the existing media.
Yes.
And just they take the mix that they already have and they turn it into 5.1.
Okay.
Well, but it's
don't necessarily have to put down the expense up front.
Yes.
If you can, it's better. You know, the higher tech. If you can, do it. If you can't, don't let it stop you. So
it might be less attractive to them if I don't have it already.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Anything else?
Splitting hairs on that? Do you think it's a serious issue? And David Bartlett, are you on? Dave, do you have an opinion on this? I don't know if you've heard.
I will need to be refreshed. I'm sorry. I'm concentrating on something else briefly.
Oh, sorry. Laura's independent film is going to sound to get a mixed on sound design. How critically do you think it needs to be 5.1 if it's being pitched to the streaming services?
It's absolutely critical. They require that.
Yeah.
So not just the stereo. Definitely do 5.1.
You start with 5.1.
All right.
Stereo. It's called a fold down. You do the stereo fold down from the 5.1. You don't do it the other way around.
Okay. All right.
Cats.
Well, there you go. Thanks.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
I can give you a lot more information about that if you want, Laura. I'm totally fine doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, because it's funny. The two sound people I spoke to said they're getting a lot of indie filmmakers right now saying it's okay. They don't need, since it's only for streaming and not theatrical release. They're just going with the stereo and not
if you want to sell it to the bigger platforms.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Yeah.
It's called a deliverable. The
right.
that you give to these platforms are deliverable elements.
Yeah.
Right.
And Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Showtime, HBO, I mean, make a list. They all require 5.1.
5.1.
And all the networks.
Is that the case at this point? It's a requirement? Wow.
Yeah, it's a deliverable requirement, 5.1 and 2, the 2-track. And they also need a 5.1 M&E for the foreign countries. That's music and effects. You need 3.
Right, exactly. I have had distribution on one of my previous films, and I did do all the deliverables, but this is like 8 years ago. And I figured, this is what I was hearing now, since this is the first time I'm back doing a feature.
No, it's even more now.
Some of these sound people were just telling me a lot of their indie clients are just taking the stereo mix. That's what I found very strange and confusing. So
I'm sure they are doing that, but they're not getting sold to those bigger platforms.
They're not going to get sold.
Right. Okay, great.
Okay.
Well, I think
great. Thanks. I appreciate it.
One other issue about the film, there's a shot with a record album, and it's at an angle. We don't see the entire cover of the album, but it's a known album from the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
And Laura was wondering about, is there any issue of showing that? It's not front and center, it's not prominent, it's in the shot.
It's not a big
Here's
deal.
The rule about that, okay?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
If you make money, you will get sued. It doesn't matter what the reason is. If they can get money from you, they will give you a lawsuit. If you put that on there and don't make any money, and they say, like, we don't have any money, there's no copyright infringement, because it's like putting a can of Campbell's Soup Inn or the Capitol Records building, there might be grounds for that, but it'll take you a lawyer to do. So if you want to get the rights for that and get it under control first, they might charge you for that, which might be more money than the lawsuit. So it's very difficult to answer that question with a yes or no. Should you get it taken care of if you can? Yes. Is it a song playing in the film? No question. That has.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's different.
Just a visual of the album cover.
Yeah, it's not
Sweetie, keep it
prime
going.
set. It's like off to the side. It's not.
No, I understand.
I mean, is it the Room album or Dark Side of the Moon, or is it something no one's ever heard of?
No, it's a picture of the artist. I think it's Carmen Electric. It's just her picture.
I would definitely get
any
that.
letters, and it's in the.
No.
It's not.
If you've got the Carmen Electra's picture on an album cover, I would definitely get that cleared.
Okay.
I mean, I
remove it.
Yeah, I had.
Remove it.
I had to paint out. I had somebody wore a T-shirt, and they had a thing over it. But when they sort of opened up, you could see this image on the T-shirt. And I contacted the individual, the group that was on the T-shirt, and it was a no-go. I had to paint it out, and so I had to paint it out because they wanted to. Now, sometimes I did try. Sometimes you can try and say, "Can I? This is all it is," and they'll say, "Sure," and they'll send you a little email and saying, "Sure." But so you could try and clear it. But if you don't clear it, just have them paint it out. It's not that hard to paint it out.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Jesus.
I've done worse on this.
Yes. So anything else, Laura?
No, that's great. Thank
you.
A flag that was hanging outside of a window. I can get rid of an album cover.
Wow, Jesus. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes, let's go to another question from Santiago Castillo.
Okay.
Who says, how can we, as the viewing public, help you get into video on demand, as you put it?
It's an interesting question because this is something that we're embarked upon finding out. Because there are people who are in the inner circle, and it really helps to have them on your side because that makes the decision much easier. And I'm just trying to come at it from every direction I can think to come at it. We've got over 1 million views on the first hour of Space Command on just one of the times we posted it, and we've got tons of interest in this project, and people, it's 97% thumbs up, and you'd think that alone would be enough to get the buyers to treat it extremely seriously, but it's not. And so we're continuing to look at all these different ways of doing it. I mean, certainly the Showrunners Network with Rockne O'Bannon and Mark Fergus and Joe Dougherty and all these other people aboard should get a lot of attention. But we're looking to lock down major agent and manager representation just to kind of help give us that winning hand of cards. So we'll see. So let's see. Mark Gushwitz, you're next on my screen.
Hey, Mark.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Excellent. Okay, so Mark, I'm an editor. Been working mostly on my own stuff for the last couple of weeks because even though I kind of got a regular thing going with a client, they haven't really handed me anything yet. But that's okay. It's allowing me to get further close to the finish line on my short film, as well as this website/podcast that I'm working on getting up and running. Finally had a chance to sit down and actually start building the website. So a lot of interesting stuff like that going on. I have a question that I asked once before, but there are different people here this time. And neither Mark or Elaine were here when I asked it last time.
Okay.
So I'm hoping somebody can give me an answer. I don't know if I should wait for Mark, but
yeah, Mark. He'll be right back.
Okay, the thing is basically I've got this quote on the beginning of my short film and from a book, and I reached out to the author based on the suggestion from Mark to ask if I could use it to get permission. And the answer I'm getting back is that I had to go to the publisher.
What's the question?
I then asked them for the publisher's name, and they actually said that they would reach out to the publisher for me.
Wait, what were you talking about? I'm sorry, I was getting Elaine some iced tea. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm trying to get permission to use this quote in my short film, and I reached out to the author, whose assistant is now reaching out to the publisher, but she's not getting any answer back from the publisher.
I don't see how it has.
This is from them. I reached out to the author, and she's fine with me using it, but she says I got to get permission from the publisher. But the assistant then said to me she hasn't heard back from the publisher, but she's heard of this thing where, I'm going to read it to you as she wrote it. We haven't heard back from HQ yet, but someone did mention to us that using a single line from a book, as long as you give the author credit, is called fair use.
Yeah, I think you could probably get away with it. I mean, they're not going to, you're not stealing the storyline. You're not doing anything other than quoting a line. I would do it. I wouldn't get, particularly if the writer has approved it, you know, I think you're okay. I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Okay. Well, that was my thing, because I don't want to start searching for another quote. I think that the movie has to open with one because of particular reasons. And I really like what I've got. And like I said, I've been in communication with the author's assistant, and they're like all for it. Yeah, whatever. If you need permission, we can't give it to you. They need to. So,
you know, yeah.
I figure it's just at this point going to festivals. What's the worst?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not anything to be of concern at all. It's funny, sometimes when one wants a quote and doesn't have a quote, one can make up a quote and attribute it to some non-existent person. I think that's what Ray did on Fahrenheit 451. I think that he told me that the quote that begins the book, the guy doesn't exist, he just made that up. So if memory serves, so that's pretty hilarious. And the quote was great. It was like, if someone gives you lined paper, write the other way. So that's
to be honest with you, the story that the quote's coming from has nothing to do with what my movie is, but the quote is like perfect for the opening of my film. It like sums up the themes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, all right. So I'm not going to worry about it.
No,
don't try and keep communication. But if I don't hear back, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've been busy working further on my short film, which I'm almost done with the color correction. Earl, who's here tonight, is working on sound and music. And I've had a little bit of time to start writing some reviews for my website that I'm building. For people who don't know, I'm building a website that's basically 100% pro movies, in the sense that I'm only going to be talking about movies that I love. And it's going to be introducing people to movies that I feel are either underrated, underseen, or deserve misunderstood, or deserve to maybe be re-looked at. And so I've been working on that. My podcast is going to be, I'm going to bring on guests who will talk about movies that fit into that subject that they want to talk about. And I've locked down two very good people for my first two episodes. A friend of mine, Tom, who is pretty big in the animation world, actually ran Marvel Studios for a couple of years, the animation department. And then he has reached out to Rob Paulson, who's one of the big voiceovers guys, who's agreed to come on. So, and then of course I'll be reaching out to Mark sooner or later to see if you'll want to be on, as well as a couple other things. So I'm getting real excited about this.
Mark, if you want some help with that, underrated films and films with positive outlooks and all sort of thing, I'd love to help you with that.
I would love for we've actually talked about this, if you remember, and I would love to have you help me with that as soon as I get a little bit further. As soon as I get a little bit further, so I can show you kind of what I'm doing, I will definitely be approaching you. Because for people who don't know, Dave Bartlett is one of these guys, when you talk movies, you can just hear the love he has for movies.
Yes.
Sometimes I get disillusioned when I talk to people about movies, because it's kind of like, do you even like movies, especially critics? But Dave Bartlett has got a genuine love for movies.
Another person who is a terrific cineast is Joe Dante. Joe Dante just has a huge knowledge of film and a great love for it. Also, Patrick Francis, who lives next door to us, is a historian of noir films, and so he might be someone to talk to at some point as well.
That could be good too. And when I get ready and move forward, I reach out to you. Maybe we can talk about that.
Great.
I do know, like, for people like Joe Dante, I was going to reach out to Dale Howison over at Dark Delicacy.
Yes.
Not only do I want to get him on the show, because he's a pretty good name in the horror world.
Yeah.
But the people he knows.
Yes. Yes.
It's
true.
Insane. Joe Dante is one of them.
Yes.
Another guy would be Mick Garris.
Yes.
Who's done a lot of interviews and been around.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
I was reaching back for something else. No, Mick Garris is good. I actually met Mick Garris and Joe Dante at the same time. Only a couple months ago, right before Dark Delicacy had to shut down for lockdowns and everything.
Yeah,
and I'm
Jesus.
signing at the same time.
Yikes.
So kind of what I'm doing. I'm getting real excited about it. I've been revisiting a lot of movies. See, I put up a poster for The Indian Runner, which will be one of the first movies
Cool.
that I review. So I've
Great.
been watching these Sean Penn directed movies. And it's just been real exciting kind of revisiting the movies that I've loved in the past, and it's just kind of getting me all back into it.
Good.
And then I've also been exploring a new idea for I want to do a feature next. I just did, I'm ending a short, and I feel like if I'm going to hit another project, it's got to be from an hour and a half. If it's not a feature, at least an hour, that's something that's sellable.
Mm-hmm.
The shorts really aren't sellable unless you can find somebody to put it in an anthology.
Oh, yes.
And I'm glad I went through the process of the short, made a lot of mistakes that I'll never make again, and better to do that on something small. So that's me. I'm just trying to keep moving forward. I'm trying to... I'm looking for names for the website, so if anybody has any suggestions for names, because I'm really horrible with names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as soon as things go up, I'll let people know so they can download or go to the website. I'm waiting until I have at least 4 interviews in the can before I start uploading the podcast. I don't want to fall behind. I made that mistake with another podcast recently. And the website. I'm hoping to have that up by the beginning of March.
Cool.
So,
Great.
And definitely, Dave, I'll be reaching out to you for help.
Okay. Cool.
Yay.
Yay. 3 cheers. So, Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes. Very interesting question from Danny Graham.
Hi, Danny.
Who says, this is something I would love to know as a drag artist myself. Would you ever cast a drag artist?
It's an interesting question. I'm not averse to doing that, but again, you have to find the story where it works. You have to find a way. Everything has to be organic to the story, and but no, I mean, it certainly would be interesting, and but yeah, so that's definitely a conversation to have.
It worked in Doom Patrol.
Did it? I haven't seen that, so I'll have to take a look at it. But yeah, so that's definitely something to talk about. So let's see. So I know Sarah's doesn't need anything, but it's a cute puppy. So very cute puppy.
Where did you get the puppy?
What are you doing? Okay. Oh, it's a very cute puppy. It's yeah.
Oh yeah, she's I'm sitting on a couch, so
Yeah.
She decided that she needed some attention. So.
Cool. No, great puppy.
She's about 12 weeks old.
Wow. What's her name?
And her name's Blue, B-L-O-O. As she gets older, she is just less and less patient and wants to run around. And as you can see, she is just being a wild woman right now. I guess I'm feeding her well.
No, that's a lot like me. So, okay, well, great. Well, congratulations on the puppy. Yay, Sarah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay.
At some point when COVID is over, she can meet your puppy.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think yours are full grown now.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're great. So, but thanks. Congratulations. Okay, so yes. So David Bartlett, I guess you're up.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Bartlett. I am a filmmaker, a teacher, and a human rights activist, and a producer on Space Command.
Yay!
Great.
Producing a lot of things on Space Command these days. Digital Effects is one. I just finished a cash flow to finish episode 102. So this is a very exciting moment for all of us. Mark finds it exciting as well.
Oh, yeah.
But we are close to finishing episode 102, which is kind of a big deal.
Yes.
We also have a lot of things happening at the studio, and we have all sorts of other things going with Space Command. So about myself, I am a filmmaker, started making my first film when I was 10. 10 was a big year for me. I realized only just recently. I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey in a cinema when I was 10.
Wow.
Okay. Now that blew me away for several reasons. We had to go all the way. I'm from Beaverton, Oregon, and we had to drive all the way to downtown Portland on the other side of the river, which my dad never did, because it was a 20-minute drive, and he just said nothing is worth driving 20 minutes. We went to the Hollywood Theater, which had a Cinerama-sized screen that I want to say was curved. I could be wrong, but anyway, it was an old Deco theater, a palace, and it was like an incredible experience for me. Also the host of Krakatoa East of Java, which of course it's not East of Java, but the film said it was.
Yeah.
And other films I saw there. Then I realized that the first film I ever saw was when I was 5, and I was in a cinema, and my parents took me to see The Birds.
Hmm.
Now that probably says a lot about my background.
Oh yeah, that explains a
The
lot.
first film I remember seeing was The Birds. Now, I remember vividly from that age seeing the scene where the teacher's eyes are pecked out, and all the birds are slowly landing on the playground equipment with that monotonous song that the children are singing.
Yes.
Which is such a genius sequence.
Yeah.
The little parakeets that are going like this in the car as she drives up for the first time. That freaked me out. These are things I remember from when I was 5.
Yes.
So loving epics, loving Cecil B. DeMille, loving the 10 Commandments, loving The Bridge on the River Kwai and Lawrence of Arabia. And a very underrated film, I think, is The Greatest Show on Earth by DeMille. And just being obsessed with epic films. And this all came from before I was 10 years old.
Wow.
So I also saw The Battleship Potemkin and Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera on TV.
Great.
And decided that's what I was going to do.
Great.
I didn't know what filmmaking was.
Oh.
Anyway, I did films in high school.
Cool.
I moved to LA in 1980, started working on films right away, right out of the gate. I ended up with James Cameron, building sets with him, which is holding me in good stead now because I'm doing lots of James Cameron techniques on the sets for Space Command.
Cool.
And passing them on to others, whether they want to hear about it or not. And worked on a bunch of films like in sound.
Oh, and if everyone could mute their mic if it's not their turn, that'd be great. Thanks. And go ahead, David.
Films and sound like Pulp Fiction and Speed and Total Recall and Predator 2 and Tremors and all sorts of films.
Great.
And I started working in independent films after that, and I've now got 65 film festival awards.
Cool.
So that kind of brings me full circle. Now, I always tell a news story every week, and I'm getting thinner and thinner on news stories. So we can take a vote. I'm going to mention 3 different people here, and if you want to hear me tell the story, you can raise your hand. One's a story about Patrick Swayze. How many want to hear a Patrick Swayze story?
Okay.
I got a couple of takers. How about a Christopher Lloyd story?
Yeah.
That's a little bit more. Jan de Bont, working with Jan de Bont on his first film, which was Speed, which is a great story. Nobody's raising their hand.
No.
2 people. Okay?
No, I don't know.
Christopher Lloyd is kind of a short story.
Yeah,
Worked with Christopher Lloyd on a film doing ADR, which is when an actor comes into a studio and they watch on a screen what they did on the set,
right,
and they re-record their dialogue. Okay, so when the actor's in the room, they look like this. Okay, and then when they turn to look at you when you talk, they look like this. And he had short version of his crazy hair, and he was a super, super nice guy, but he was very animated. He was very into it. So you say, okay, Chris, good, let's try another one. And you hear the 3 beeps, beep, 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 and then they talk. So you hear this beep, beep, beep. Tomorrow morning, you go like this. And he would stare at you. Like, what's the reaction? Say, Chris, that was great, but it was a little bit out of sync. So try just a little bit more, a little shorter. Go like this. Beep, beep, beep. Da, 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 da. And it went like that for like an hour. And it was entertaining every single time he did it. So
that's great.
That was one of my most fun experiences on an ADR studio.
Cool. Yay. That's great.
So now, Space Command. Space Command needs your help. We have 2 kinds of jobs in Space Command. One is a volunteer position, of which there are many choices. Runners 1, building sets is another, painting is another. Lydia's not here with us today. Lydia works twice a week with us and is a tremendous help.
Great.
And we're doing a lot of painting, and the sets are really shaping up well.
Yeah.
We had a tour on Sunday of Massimiliano, our cinematographer, Mark and Elaine, and some others. And a lot of the sets were on display for that, and it was really fun for me to see the reactions because most people were very positive about it, which was great.
It was great.
But we're not finished. So if you want to volunteer with Space Command, you can come to the studio and do that. Or we can actually have a paid position for you as well. We give a little minimum wage activity around the edges, and that can be helpful to some people, especially during COVID. I have had 4 COVID tests, and I'm a COVID compliance officer certified. So we definitely are careful there. We have masks, we have the hand sanitizer, we have the thermometers, we have all of it. People come in, they get tested, they work, they wear masks, we all wear masks, and it's very, very safe. And we've had no problems at all for the entire time we've been doing this, actually. We actually shot once, too. and had 18 people in our studio with masks, the 6 feet rule and everything else, and there was not a hitch. It was no problem.
Great.
So anyway, we have that going for us. So if you want, I can put my email on the list here, and you guys can reach out to me and participate if you want to. We also have the table email. The table email is 2,000 people or more that are on an email service that all the table members are able to be on. If you're new, you can get on that table email. To do that, you can just write to me at my email, which I will give you on the list here. It's davefilms@hotmail.com. And you can make sure that you have an email that has your first and last name, and you can have numbers on it too if you want, like Dave Edison 225 or 666 or whatever it is. Those will all work. At gmail.com is the best. Yahoo is not going to work because everyone has Yahoo anymore. It's for some reason rejected, but Gmail is the best. Send me that. I will get you on and we can get you going. If you're having troubles with the table email, you can definitely reach out to me and I will help you with that as well. And that seems to be the end of my spiel.
Cool. Okay, great. Yay. 3 cheers. Great. And so is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes, but first I would be remiss without mentioning that we have a birthday amongst our viewers, Mr. Sci-Fi. It's Rose Kirby's birthday.
Yay, Rose! 3 cheers.
Happy birthday.
Great.
So happy birthday, Rose.
Yeah, that's
Glad
terrific.
to have you with us. And she watches from England too, so
yes,
stuff late.
You got a round of applause. It's just we're all muted.
Yes, exactly. So great, cool. And is there a question, Adam?
Yeah, let me get. Here we go. Another Elaine question.
Yay! Yeah. Well, I clearly my sell by date has run out. You know,
I know. Geez. You might have to make it the Mrs. Sci-Fi.
That's right. Exactly.
Mark Lungo asks, what if someone did an animated documentary on the Wobblies?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I think that would be great. We did
Liberty's Kids.
We did Liberty's
about
Kids.
The American Revolution for PBS.
And so I got to do an animated version too. 2 shows.
We did 3. Well, we did 2 on Tom Paine, and the other one was on Baron von Steuben.
And it worked extremely well. I'm a research freak, and it was very effective for young people. It was voiced by stars.
Yep.
And so something on the Wobblies, especially, so many people have forgotten the power of unions and what happens when you don't have them.
Yes.
And so I would love to see an animated version of the Wobblies.
Of the IWW.
Yeah.
And actually, in terms of Liberty's Kids, that brings up a great trivia question relating to the Zickries, which is, when did Mark and Elaine write for Arnold Schwarzenegger? And the answer was Liberty's Kids, because he played Baron von Steuben, who trained the army, the Revolutionary Army. So pretty fun. So, so let's see, Judy Beecher, let's do you, because I know you're in New York.
Then we have Yoshi.
I know.
Hi, y'all.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm in my Texas cousins mode.
Wow, cool.
So I'm Judy Beecher. It's good to see you, Elaine and Mark and everybody.
Yeah.
I am an actress and a filmmaker and a writer, singer-songwriter, voiceover artist.
Right.
I've actually been recovering from skin cancer.
Oh no! Oh dear!
I've been at my parents' house for the last 3 weeks,
Huh.
and doing a lot of work from here, which is great because I have my parents, and so so good news is that my film, Tango Shalom, just had its first public screening 2 days ago at the Jaipur Film Festival, and it won the Best Film and Critics Award.
Great.
For at the festival, at the first screening that it had, and then so that was really, really exciting. Okay. I'm the lead actress in that film.
Yay.
And it's about a Hasidic rabbi who gets a calling to dance the tango.
Of course.
Because he's having financial problems, he tries to resolve his problems by dancing the tango, and he can't touch a woman that's not his wife. So he goes to all these other religions, Catholic and Muslim and Hindu, to ask for advice of what to do. So it's about bringing people together, bringing religions together, family, dance. And it was just really fun, and it's a heartwarming comedy. I play his wife, the Hasidic rabbi's wife.
Of course.
So that was really, really exciting. And then we're also up for we're nominated for Best Comedy at the Montreal Film Festival. So I spoke with last night I spoke with the head of the festival, who really likes our film, and he just gave it to a distributor, to Glenn Reynolds. Do you know who that is? Glenn Reynolds. He's distributed like 500 films. I just have to look a little bit more into him, but he's one of the judges at the festival, and they sent the film yesterday over to him because they really liked it. And our trailer has had 16,000 hits in 8 days.
Wow! Yay!
That's great.
So we're trying to get so we can get good distribution for the film. My agency closed in New York a week ago. She's been my agent for a long time in New York. The agent died, the daughter took over. They just closed the agency, so I'm on the hunt. I have no agent in New York representing me right now. So it was a surprise. They tried to keep it going, but so I'm looking for a new agent in New York. I have one in Los Angeles already. I'm with the Brogan agency in Los Angeles. And another one of my goals, which you guys are directly involved with, is in 2012, I started channeling. And I wrote all these books of channeled information. And I just finished this morning transcribing the last book. I picked that project up again because that's one of my goals, is to get that out in the world, because I think the world kind of needs it right now. Because it's like positive. It's about spiritual success, kind of, and it's my story and this channeled information that came through me, and then I have another book that I wrote after that of spiritual. It's also like the rules of spiritual success that was also channeled through me. So that was a big thing. And then I'm shooting I have to finish shooting the doc. They're selling the house that my uncle died over this COVID period, and it's my mother's house where she grew up. And after she came from Germany, she was a hidden child in Germany, and it's the house she grew up in. And I wanted to shoot in there, and they're selling it in 2 weeks. So I'm trying to recover quickly, so I can figure out how to do that. So I'm trying to find a DP that'll match with the stuff that we did in Germany that has a similar kind of style. So I'm just putting that out there too. I have to shoot in a week.
Wow.
So I have a lot of things, and my goal is to get on a TV series, to be a series regular on a TV. It could be a dramedy. I'd love to do a dramedy TV series. So that's my goal for 2021. So I'm just putting it out there and saying it to you guys, saying it so that it's. One thing I would suggest is that make a list of which showrunners have the aesthetic for dramedy that you really, really like. And then you might want to send them a link to the trailer for Tango Shalom, because since it's just one best feature, it's like you've got enough of a hook where they might check out the trailer and might really like it. And, it could get some momentum going. So I would suggest that, because everyone's stuck at home and going crazy. Because what?
Everyone is stuck at home.
Crazy.
Yep.
Looking for stuff to do. That's a good idea. I've recently started watching these fantastic series. That I never watch TV ever, because I'm always out here doing things in the world, or working, or and I just started watching crazy fantastic series on Netflix, which I never get to watch. Queen's Gambit.
Yes, that was a great show. But that was an adaptation of a novel, and so I don't think they're coming back per se. But it was a great show, terrific, really terrific.
It just makes me so happy to see work.
Yes,
I love to watch things. I'm always watching movie. I'm always at the cinema, and I just it just makes me so happy. It inspires me to, just to want to do more, be more in it, just
Yeah.
creatively. So
Cool. Well, that's great. Anything else, Judy?
I'm playing. I have a weird little thing in SVU tonight, which I'm taping. So we'll see if my lines stayed in it. So.
Yes, that's funny. Well, great.
I'm on that.
Well, 3 cheers. That's great. Well, definitely, if there's a link to the trailer for Tango Shalom or anything like that, where you want people to see it, please post it to the table. But I'm sure people will really.
I did post
Oh, good.
it on the table.
Oh, good. Well, then I'll definitely watch it. I'm curious to see it.
I can. Should I post a link on the here down here?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So you guys can at least see.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I'll put it on the bottom
on the chat.
I'll find it. And I'll
Great.
Put it on the link. You
Okay.
guys can see it. It's
Anything?
really fun.
Oh, great. Anything else you need?
No, I am. If anyone, I'm looking for an agent in New York. If anyone has any, or manager, if anyone has any recommendations. Also,
Okay.
manager in LA too. And I'm looking for. Also, I put it on the table for DPs as well. I have to be really careful. My mom is 84.
Yes.
And I don't just with COVID and stuff.
Yes.
Like she'd have to be there without a mask and stuff. So
Right.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to, and I've had 15 COVID tests, David.
Wow. Yeah. Well, everyone stay. Everyone should stay safe.
They do you every single day. You get tested on the set and stuff. So
every day, that's extreme.
Wow.
Yeah. Every day you do it 2 days before you start, and then every single day you're on. They
Wow.
COVID test you.
Did you get that lovely brain scan?
I did about 5 of those.
Wow.
I did 5 of those.
I did 2 of those. Those are horrifying. I did 2 of those. They're awful.
Yeah, with the swab. Yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah.
The ones
Well.
they do on the set are the lower ones.
Yeah. Good. Those are fine. Those are more than enough. So I need my brain intact. So so great. Well, yay, Judy. 3 cheers. Great to see you as always. So Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have another Willem Sowers question.
Great.
I think I missed earlier.
Okay.
But, he says, speaking of Klingons,
yes.
we talked about Klingons earlier.
Yeah.
Do they make better adversaries or allies?
It's funny. I'm not a big fan of Klingons because I find they're very sort of one note. I guess my favorite Klingon is Worf. So in that way, because as a hero, he was like sort of honorable and strong and loyal and blah blah blah. Otherwise, they're just kind of like over the top. So, and the Klingons in Star Trek Discovery are just kind of like, give me a break, eating people and stuff, just kind of later. But so I think Worf would be my favorite, and B'Elanna Torres, because I really like Roxanne Dawson, and but I've never written Klingons, and I don't really ever need to. But Vulcans are a very different story, and I love Vulcans, as you can tell from my Mr. Spock spacesuit behind me. So let's see. So Yoshi, and then we'll do Earl. So Yoshi, if you want to take your turn.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
So it's been a long time. Last time I was at the table, I think it was in person. So,
yes.
Wow.
So my name is Yoshi Vu. I'm a VFX generalist, meaning I do a little bit of everything, from concept to modeling, compositing, lighting, rendering, you name it. Most recently, I was a senior journalist on Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. I made the Death Star ruins.
Cool.
And Mandalorian Season 1. Prior to that, I was a senior journalist on The Walking Dead, The Orville, Star Trek Into Darkness. I worked on that. So kind of been all over the place, worked in games too. I don't really need anything. I'm just coming to say hi after returning home back in the States, and
Wow. Yeah. So there's nothing you need, right?
No.
Okay.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Well, 3 cheers. Yay. Welcome. Welcome back.
Yoshi's got some work in the pilot of Space Command.
He does.
Well. Yes.
He does. He
I
does.
helped out a little bit on that before I got sent off overseas.
Yes, exactly. But that's great. No, you're a talented fellow, and talented people too. So that's great. Terrific. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam? And again, for those who are new to the table, we're doing a simulcast with my YouTube channel. That's what we're, yeah.
Yep.
Go for it.
So it's this question is from our previous super chatter, Pranakasha Productions. And they ask how much more, because we were talking about stereo versus 5.1.
Yes.
How much more does 5.1 cost versus stereo?
David Bartlett?
You should start with a 5.1. So the question is, how much more does the 2-track cost than the 5.1? 5.1 doesn't take very much more time to mix if you're starting from that and putting it together. And then the 2-track, just usually, when I do 2 tracks, it takes 50% longer than the running time. So a 2-hour film would be 3 hours, that kind of thing. It's not difficult to do the 2-track if you start with the 5.1 first. If you try to do it the other way around, that's a whole different story. So if you're going to spend, independent feature, let's say you spend 5 days mixing, which is a short amount of time typically, but that's a typical time that they budget. So 5.1 can be done in 5 days if that's how much time you have, and the 2-track will take 3 hours past that. And that's usually the general rule of thumb.
So do you have any, could you give them any kind of like general budget figures on that?
Depends on the person you get and the studio that they have. People that have home studios, and I'm talking about professional home studios, the mix alone, $2,000 to $5,000 would be extremely low budget. I usually budget for a 1-hour episode of Space Command, $5,000 for sound design and $5,000 for the mix. That's $10,000. That's for a professional mix and with a professional mixer in a quality room that's not a really big room that you would want to go and have like a giant mix. And it goes up from there. There's all kinds of versions from that. There are people that do mixes that are not in LA and they do them on a very reasonable budget, but you have to not be there or go there. For example, I did a film that we mixed in Salt Lake City, and they were a very good team. The composer and the sound designer and mixer were 2 people, and they worked very hard on that. And I went up for 1 day, and we watched it playback and did notes on 1 pass of it, and it was done, and it turned out very well. But we also had some notes in the meantime that were sent to us. Now, I don't recommend that, but if you have good people to begin with, it can be done. And that sound job was probably in the $15,000 range, which included the score. So that was a pretty reasonable deal too. The Space Command rates vary, different independent feature rates vary. It really depends. People often under budget post sound, and you get what you pay for. Because if you're able to sit there and work out dialogue problems that you had on the set to begin with, they can sound a lot better. And if you're not, it's going to get you kickback, because there's another little thing that people don't take into consideration when they do sound mixes and color correction. And that is that after the film is finished, then it gets given to the distribution people or the sales people, and they go through what's called QC. QC is a company, a third-party company. And they watch the film and they write down all the nitpicky notes they can figure out. And you get level 1, level 2, and level 3 notes. And some of the notes are, it'd be nice if you did them. And some of them are, you really should do these. And some of them are, we won't buy the film if you don't do these. If you don't get those done to begin with, you have to go back into the mix and redo them. The same with color correction, the same with digital hits on the picture and stuff. So you're going to pay for it twice if you do it that way. This last film I did is the first time I've done this, worked out really well. We had 2 picture notes and 0 sound notes on the first QC pass. I actually called them and asked them. I said, "Are you sure about this? You have no sound notes?" None. They said no.
That's great.
So basically, they're saying the sound is perfect. Now we spent the right amount of correct time to get that done. So if you want to sell your movie and not spend for it 2 or 3 times later, I strongly recommend you get it done right the first time and spend the money.
Great. Okay, cool. Thank you, David. So, yay. So, I guess that was answering Mr. Sci-Fi question. So, Earl, you're up. Go for it.
Hey, Earl F. Smith, multi-award-winning composer, sound designer. At Montreal Film Festival, I've had like 4 or 5 films win that.
Wow, that's great.
Twice best short film.
Great.
I don't know anything about these film festivals, and they're all great to me, but I always focus on doing the best work, getting paid keep the roof over my head to feed my daughter.
Yes.
That award don't put no money in my pocket. I'm just kind of like,
sure.
But I don't know. That's just my view. I have a question for you, David Bartlett, just based on what you're speaking on the 5.1 mix, because I am one of those people as a sound designer. I end up delivering final mixes, and I have been finding in the past 4 years or so, filmmakers not really caring about getting a 5.1 mix. First, just spending as least amount of money as they can. I mean, little money, just to then put in festivals to get some people interested in buying. And then once they buy or they're interested in buying, coming back and rushing, let's just throw it together. So,
yeah, I can comment on that if you want.
Yeah, and then I also know based on the numbers you're throwing out, like I work on every kind of film. Little money, some no money, some in the $10,000 range, some more than that. But how do you feel? When you throw those numbers out to filmmakers, you know, dealing with sound, does it just scare them and they run away? I always start with what's your budget to find out what their thinking is, and then I try to walk them through the process, especially on music.
Yeah, and that's cool. I can answer that. It's a two-part question. So the first part is that if your mixer is skilled, like you are, and like people I work with are, doing a 5.1 mix doesn't really take much more time than a 2-track if you're starting with it. And the thing is that sometimes the 5.1 is a lot easier because a two-track mix, you have to squish the music and the dialogue and the sound effects at the same 2 speakers piled on top of each other, which makes it harder to get through, frankly. So that will take more time. It doesn't really take more time. Doing both takes a little more time, but you have to factor that in. If you want to have your film play on YouTube, then do a 2-track mix and you're good to go. But if you want it to have longer legs than that, you can start the other way. Now, if you want to do it the other way around, where you start with a 2-track and come back and have to do a 5.1, who pays for that? If you don't have the money to pay for that, then the distributor pays for it. So on the off chance the distributors are willing to do that, which a lot of them are not anymore, but let's say they are, guess where that money comes out of? Your percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime they spend money redoing color, redoing edits, redoing titles, redoing anything like that, or sound, it's going to come out of your profits down the road, and you'll end up with nothing several times over. So I think that it should be done right the first time, because 5.1 is the right way, not the optional way, in my opinion. Because what if you have a film festival screening in a theater and you have a DCP that's 5.1? It's going to get played like a regular movie. And that's going to have a bigger impact on your audience. But a lot of people only go with the finance part, and it's understandable. So I still strongly recommend you start with the 5.1 and then do the 2-track if you need it. Now, a lot of places will jam the 5.1 into a 2-track format anyway, later on down the road. So you don't have to do a separate 2-track because it's going to end up that way anyway. It's not going to sound as good as you'd like, but they're also not going to have the ability to go through and say, okay, let's find their 2-track mix and put that on instead. They're going to grab the first master that you send them, and they're going to stick it up there. And that's happening more and more now. So that's kind of the long and the short of that subject. I also have the same conversation you do. I say to a filmmaker, what do you have? They say, I have $50. And I go, okay, well, guess what? And we have a conversation. I said, do you want a foreign sale? Of course, we absolutely want a foreign sale. Well, guess what? You need full Foley for that. Footsteps and props. Why? Because when you take the production sound out, those all go away. And when you go to the foreign market, all of a sudden, they're not there. So you put in French in France and Italian in Italy, and there are no footsteps and there are no props, and they're going to kick that back, and you're going to have to redo it anyway. So that's a separate issue a lot of people don't take into consideration too. If you get a quote that includes the full foreign mix with a full Foley, and it's these numbers that he and I are throwing around a little bit, that's a really good deal. You can spend $10,000 just on Foley, or you can get a great package and they'll throw it in and they'll do it with a computer, whatever it is, and they'll make it sound pretty good or even very good, depending on who it is. So yeah, Earl, I do the same conversation you do. I don't do certain jobs at certain levels. I don't do any jobs right now because I'm working on Space Command, but when I'm freelancing, there's a limit. I mean, I can help people because I like them, but it's going to be too low money and not work out. And before I address the second thing, the festival award thing is this, okay? I disagree with you on a certain level. Yes, it doesn't translate directly, but the goodwill and your prestige of winning festival awards with your mixes will get you more clients who want to have the same effect with their films. So you've got a bunch of festivals, especially that one that you mentioned. It's very hard to win an award in that festival you mentioned, okay? I've had, I don't know, 30, 40 films of mine out there, and every time I put it out there, they don't give me any attention at all, that one. It's just not my festival.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a prestigious thing that you've got awards. You can put them up on your walls and say, okay, here's some films I did that won these awards at these festivals. And all of a sudden those clients are going to go, we're going to have you because we want our film to win those awards too. And I've gotten a lot of work from people because I have a festival award wall that's got many festivals from sound work I've done or film editing work I've done, not to mention producing, directing, and writing, and in one case, cinematography. So, you know, that's, I think, is an important thing. Now, what was the other thing you asked? Because I already forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, those were the two.
It.
And I hate to see, I don't have any of those on my wall. And
yeah.
I mean, I guess there's two other ones. I won the best short film in the Jack Daniels Reel to Reel film competition. And that was kind of big. And there was a check for
get all those up there.
Yeah.
Put them on your wall, Earl. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've got awards on my wall too, and I didn't think they would mean anything. I won Best Film for a movie I directed called Gourmet at the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival, which when I first heard about it, I thought it was a big festival. It's actually it's a bigger festival now, but at the time it was a small little festival in Arizona. But it's called the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival. So when people come into my office to work with me and they see that, they don't know what the festival is, they think I won some huge award at some huge festival. And I get work.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah, I won the grand prize with a short at the Houston Film Festival, and the award at that time was a giant brass bowl with a wooden base.
Yes.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I have things on the wall. There's some in the shape of film cans. AOF does film cans, which used to be really cool. They don't do that anymore. There's framed things. There's statues. You get a variety of these things going up on your walls. You put them on your YouTube channel, or like right now behind you, right? You know, I would see those back there and I go, oh, hang on a second. This guy's got stuff going on.
Yeah.
What are these? And if you can't get the physical awards from the filmmakers, you can write to the festivals directly oftentimes, and you can pay them to give you a duplicate award that has the same inscription on it that the filmmakers had. Most festivals can do that.
Yes.
Or at the very least, you can take pictures of their festival awards and put that on your wall.
Yeah.
But that's interesting to know. I know, like, I scored the feature that won Best Family Film in the Los Angeles Independent Film Festival. I was like, okay, that's kind of big.
Those local festivals that do it. Golden State does that. Houston makes a whole thing about duplicate awards. There's a lot of stuff you can get from Houston.
Yes.
That stuff's out there.
Yeah, and my favorite award that I've won, I mean, you know, all of you, I think you guys know, we've been nominated for the Hugo and the Nebula and tons of stuff, the Humanitas Prize.
You're the father here.
Yeah, but my
looked up to you, Mark.
but my favorite award that I've been given isn't the Saturn Award, isn't the Rondo Award. I won those, but we were guests at the Cardiff International Film Festival in Wales. And a couple days in, the people putting on the festival came to me and they said, listen, one of our other guests, who's the director from India, we were going to give him the Lifetime Achievement Award, but he had to go back to India unexpectedly because of a legal issue. And so would you be open to us? And I thought they were going to ask me to like accept it from. They said, no. It's very important to us and to the people who are putting on the festival that whoever wins the award be here in person. So would you be open to us giving you a Lifetime Achievement Award because he won't be here? So I now have that on my shelf. So I
just remembered a really funny one. I'm going to go get it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, okay, sure. But that was great. So Earl, is there anything else you need?
There's one other thing that I would really like to know.
Yeah.
While he's gone, everyone hi.
Yes, that'd be very funny. You come back and there's no one. That's very good. But yes, go ahead, Earl, please.
I miss Adam Santeen's. I want to know how he's doing with last week, seeing his post of having COVID and being in the hospital.
Go for it, Adam.
That really concerned me. I've already lost 7 friends, close friends.
Wow.
Older.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, Adam, how are you feeling?
I'm still coughing, but I'm still breathing, so
Good.
I'm good.
Good.
I'm on the way out. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, you missed my spiel earlier, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely on the mend.
Okay.
Good. Okay, and then David.
Ready?
Yes.
So I worked on a film called Run, Ronnie, Run.
Yes.
Run, Ronnie, Run was not released because New Line Cinema made it, and right when it was finished, they decided that The Lord of the Rings was a cooler project, so they stopped the release on it because they wanted to start being more respected by people.
Yes.
It's a funny comedy that's very raunchy and very bizarre. Two of the guys that did Mr. Show did it with the director, who was the guy that put together all those clips at the Academy Awards with Billy Crystal when they put him in movies.
Yes.
Like in E.T. and whatnot, he made all of those.
Wow.
Okay? So they had in their movie, and this is a very raunchy redneck comedy, they had the thing called Flynn's Beer. Flynn's Beer was an invented beer that they used in the film. And here is something that Troy Miller, the director, gave me when I worked on the film. This is a crushed can of Flynn's Beer.
Wow.
Which is on here 60 proof.
Wow.
Beer. Okay. Now that's almost as fun as this one, which is my niece was about 14 and she did a competition in school that she hated doing.
Uh-huh.
And she was very good violin playing, and she won this award. And she was so excited about this award, she came back into the audience and disgustedly gave it to me and said, "Here, this is for you." Doesn't even have a plaque on it.
That's great. That's
But
great.
I remember it's from her.
That's great. Well, cool. That's great.
So
Okay.
that's fun for me.
Great. That's great. So anything else?
Earl, you should embrace the awards. You should love that you got them. You should love that you were part of those films. Understand that they won those awards in part because of you.
Mm-hmm.
You should put them up and
Well, and just to throw this out there, and not to throw anyone on the bus. I mean, like the one for the LA Film Festival, the director invited everyone to the premiere but me.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I was
Well, that-
so shocked by that.
Yes.
Because
it's a different problem.
Make sure the awards are
Well-
listed on your IMDb page too.
Yes,
A lot
of
people
course.
For jobs, they want to see your IMDb page, and not all the filmmakers will do it.
Right.
I've got from this movie called Medea, which is a cable project, and she just doesn't know how.
Mhm.
She doesn't put them up on, and so I have to do it. And
Yes.
it's real easy to do.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, there are things on IMDb they pile up because if someone looks on there and says, "Oh, this guy's got 12 awards," that's interesting. Wonder
Yes.
what they're for, and looks through them. It gives you more stature on IMDb too.
That's great.
Yeah, my first award was an Emmy nomination in 1985.
Yeah.
So the first thing I have on there is Primetime Emmy nomination and 35 other awards.
Yes.
Like,
That's
okay,
great.
well, best sound effects editing for Speed is on there too, but the Emmy is the one that's mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Yes.
You know, why not?
So let me ask you, on the IMDb, because most of the films I've worked on do show on there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a separate section where it shows the film and the award won for the film?
It's under every IMDb listing, there's a section called awards, and that's where you can add information there. Yes.
I don't
And
think I've ever even looked at that.
Yeah.
On your page, it'll show too.
There-
It'll say awards on your page.
right.
I can help you with that.
Yeah. David will help you
Yeah,
later.
okay, that would be awesome.
That's
And
great.
let everybody know I've been mentored by David Bartley. He's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's what we've heard. So yeah, great, free cheers, yay! And by the way, another award that's fun is that with the table, the table was originally called the Hamptons table. So we actually created a prize called the prestigious Hamptons Prize, and we would award it to table members who were, distinctive, like, doing something cool. But we said that you can list it on your resume, but you have to list it as the prestigious Hamptons Prize, right? So first of all, Michael Reeves, who's a dear friend and a table member, he actually gave me one at one point. So that's now on my resume. But the best part of it was that someone who was not a member of the table listed it on their resume, a director, and I had to call him and tell him to take it off because he had not won that prize. And so, so that was,
But Hamptons refers to the restaurant.
Yes.
Where this all started,
Yeah.
which no longer exists and has not for many
But
years.
the prestigious Hamptons Prize
Yeah.
does. So Adam, is there another?
Here's some Run Ronnie Run trivia, David. I'm just checking it out on IMDb, and it's got a huge cast of people like Jack Black and Sarah Silverman and Patton Oswalt.
Jane Lynch was in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a huge cast.
Yeah.
But somewhere in that list is also Space Command friend E.J. De La Pena.
Huh.
Wow.
Wow. Well, there you go. When he was a kid, probably. So, So Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have a question from Zach.
Okay.
He says, do you use a formulaic plot structure for screenplays? And what do you think about the Save the Cat structure by Blake Snyder?
Yes. I don't use a formulaic structure per se. I study on any given show what the structure of the show is, and then you adapt to that. Television has changed greatly over the years, as have movies, and structure is an aspect of that. For instance, now that TV shows tell one story over a season, the structure is much more like a novel, structuring a novel than structuring a 1-hour TV show used to be. It's and when in the beginning of my career, I struggled with structure. It was very difficult. And then there was a point where I was writing all the episodes of a series for CBS, along with Michael Reeves. The two of us wrote the entire show, and I was writing so quickly and so much that it just clicked in. And now it's second nature to me. Structure is it's very funny. When Michael Reeves and I were outlining the World Enough in Time, the Star Trek episode we did with George Takei, we started, batting back and forth the beats of the story, and then about, I don't know, maybe a third of the way through or halfway through, we just kind of looked at each other, and Mike said, "Well, we know where it goes from here, don't we?" And I said, "Yeah," because it's just so, built in, it's baked in, and so yeah. But in terms of Save the Cat, I haven't read Save the Cat. I will someday, but the more rules any screenwriting book has, in terms of you have to have an inciting incident by this page, and you have to have this thing happen at that page, and Joseph Campbell says this and that and this and that. They don't know how to write a script, because that's not how you write a script. It has to sing. It's like music. If you're not in it, if you're not living it, if you're not feeling it, it's just going to be a dead thing. And that's true of writing. And there are many people who are kind of hack writers who just kind of do their best and no more. Or not even their best usually, but the people who are really doing it right, they're just there, really putting it heart and soul into it. So that's the thing that
people know. The guy who wrote Save the Cat, his claim to fame is "Stop or my mom will shoot."
Yes, and in addition to being,
kind of backs what you just said.
Right, in addition to being deceased. So yes, exactly. And so yep, exactly. So now it's Elaine, wonderful Elaine, yay, Elaine, wonderful Elaine. Okay.
Well, just busy between Space Command, where as we film, we keep rewriting the script.
Moving forward. Not the ones we've already shot.
No, not the ones, but moving forward, so Mark and I are just passing things back and forth and rewrite.
Yeah.
And also very busy because my DP,
the Mafia thing,
has a Mafia thing.
A pilot he's shooting that Elaine's writing.
Well, no, I'm rewriting it, and which is odd.
Yes.
Because I'm not a Mafia person, but he's great, and so I keep rewriting. But right now I'm stuck in a loop of promotional materials. So I'm sort of bouncing back and forth between.
But it was the funniest thing I ever heard. Elaine was getting notes from this guy. He's Italian. He's Massimiliano Trevis, and so Elaine was writing this Mafia script, and she was saying, So the uncle's chopped up and in the freezer, right? It's like to hear Elaine, a vegetarian, having that comment is priceless.
Yeah, so I was doing what we would do, which is the character fix,
Right, yeah.
But I always have to call him for details about the, other stuff.
So any other news?
No, just keeping extremely busy, just working away.
Yep.
And that's it for me right now. Just over my head.
Yay! 3 cheers.
Anything new on Subversive?
We have to follow up.
Is it? No, it's out with a couple of people.
It's out with
Thank you.
Nick Betts, who has a deal with Sky, read it and really liked it, and so his staff are reading it now. There's a producer here who's worked with Spike Lee extensively, who's reading it, and one other person. It was what's his name at Endemol Shine. So we just have to follow up and see where we are.
Doing that,
I would suggest for everybody it's a mini series dealing with
apartheid and Lord Peter Hayne's family. Lord Peter Hayne is in the House of Lords in the UK.
A socialist.
He's an amazing guy, and he was very instrumental in the sports boycott that helped overthrow apartheid.
What he really wanted to write about, because he knew Nelson Mandela and all of these other people, but he really wanted to write about ordinary people, like his family. His family saw themselves as ordinary people. It's the responsibility of ordinary people to make a difference. And so his mother and father were very proud of the fact that they made a huge difference, but they saw themselves as housewife and, you know, workaday guy and with a family of 4.
Anyway.
And they made a difference. And so what we're trying to write is something about the headset you need that they had back then that can continue into today, which has to do with people of like spirits coming together
to change the world.
To change the world.
Yeah.
But it was because a few people thought, well, you just have to have an all black protest, and you know, and then
Black Lives Matter shows that people of goodwill from all walks of life can respond to outrageous things and make the world better.
One of my favorite thing, because it's nonverbal, was AOC was talking at a high school, and one of the high schoolers started to debate with her, and she said, no, you're fighting with the wrong person. The problem isn't, you know, them. The problem is them. And so I thought that really depicted that it's, you know, it's about don't be separated from your fellows. It's people with common interests and common needs. So in all of the things that I'm writing,
liquid, sorry. Yeah.
Dry throat.
Sorry.
I was exercising a lot today.
Yeah.
With all of the things that I'm writing, including the Mafia piece, it has to do with connections.
Yes, and I got Elena a personalized license plate that it said what she requested, which was Old Lefty. So my license plate says Mr. Sci-Fi and her says Old Lefty. So there we go.
I have to give my dog a treat because I inadvertently sat on her tail.
There you go.
I'll be right back.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So is there another
Mr.
Yay, Elaine. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Sorry, girl.
No question, but we've got another super chat.
Yay! Thank you.
From a big one from Guylinda B.
Yes.
Who says, no question, but I hope this affords y'all a celebratory drink in honor of glass ceilings being shattered and Space Command.
Thank you. Yay! Absolutely. Thank you so much. So now I guess it's me, wonderful me. So thanks for everyone being here as always, and you know, it's you know, as Elaine mentioned, we're really celebrating the turn of events in the world and in the political landscape, and that's just us, you know, sharing that. But it was really wonderful to not have to watch the news as much as one used to have to watch it every single day, every few minutes, because, you know, there's nothing atrocious that happened in the last day or two. So, but beyond that, Space Command, yeah, we're working on hour 2, hour 3. We're ready, you know, I mean, we've shot 5 hours of Space Command. We're about to shoot the 6th hour. Actually, we've started shooting the 6th hour. Rewriting the script. If you want to see what the sets and the creature look like, go on Mr. Sci-Fi. I just posted a video. And
we got more artwork for the animatic.
Yes, beautiful artwork for the graphic novel by Tahani Farr. We've gotten more visual effects shots in, Dave. I'll need to see them when you drop them into the assemblage. You know, from Christian in Chile, our team in Chile, and Tobias says he's going to send some, you know, over the weekend from Germany, and so.
I'll keep an eye open for him.
Yeah, and beyond that, we're doing the Showrunners Network, where we're creating 6 series with 6 major showrunners. And Joe Dougherty just came aboard that project. So Joe won an Emmy for 30-something, was executive producer on Judging Amy, many other shows, and also Pretty Little Liars. And so he's now aboard. And so that's cool. And along with Mark Fergus and Hawk Osby, who created and run The Expanse, and Rock.
I hadn't heard that about Joe.
Yeah, it just happened. And Rockney O'Bannon is aboard, and he created Farscape and Alienation and Sequest and Defiance and Cult, and he's executive producer on Evil. So we're creating these 6 shows, one of which is Space Command, and our venture capital person has flown to the East Coast to deal with an issue around her parents, but we're in the process of raising $36 million to shoot these 2-hour pilots, and we'll see what happens. But you know, $36 million, you can almost live in LA on that, and so we'll see what happens. But so far, so good. And And then meantime, I've crossed the halfway point on the new book, Greenlighting Yourself. So that's coming along fine, and just got to write a little bit of it every day. And anything else? Am I forgetting anything? We own 12 spacesuits now from various productions, and 2 terriers, yes. And life is just good. I mean, I can't wait for everyone to get their vaccinations so that we can all be together again, which I look forward to very much. And you know, but I'm, you know, we're living the dream. I mean, it's every day is Christmas for us. And you know, so oh, one thing I can recommend, we just saw a movie that's actually a lot of fun. It's called Shadow in the Clouds, and it stars Chloe Grace Moritz aboard a B-24 bomber in World War II with gremlins attacking. And it's really pretty fun. We really had a good time watching it. So so we can recommend that. And so I think that's the main stuff. Yeah. Just, you know, doing everything we do. And so we're here every Thursday, as you all know. And anyone who wants to be part of Space Command, yeah, just reach out to David Bartlett. And anyone who wants to watch Space Command, we've got a bunch of it up on Mr. Sci-Fi, my YouTube channel. And it just keeps going. Life is certainly filled with neat stuff. And you know, but I mean, again, just make stuff. It's you know, I just got this in the mail. This is there are many subgenres of science fiction. One of them is the alternate world where the Nazis won World War II. And the first book that was ever written with that plot is a book called Swastika Night. And this is the early edition of that book. And it's it was written in 1935 and published in 1937, and it takes place 700 years in the future after the Nazis won World War II with the Japanese. And this was written in 35 and came out in 37, which is amazingly ahead of its time. And it was written by someone named Murray Constantine, who was actually a female writer. They didn't discover this until the 1980s, and she was a feminist lesbian. And so I'm reading that book now. It's really, really cool. But that was the first alternate history where the Nazis won, and phenomenal book. Very strong critique of male domination, because she sees the Nazis as sort of the ultimate version of that. So very cool. So okay, great. Well, guys, so it's great seeing everyone. Have a safe week, and we're glad that you're on the mend, Adam, and just call and reach out as you need to. Yay. So thanks to everyone. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye, guys.
Feel better, Adam.
Bye.
Nice to see you guys.
Yeah, you too. Bye. Bye, guys. Talk soon. Take care.